website. Just register
Oh,
on the
I
Games Gone
guess I
Now
was
website and you can redeem
What
all the
happened?
free stuff, create your own
Suddenly my
schedule
recording
tailored to
stopped.
your interests,
Well,
and participate in the
that's awkward.
Gamescom
Anyway,
Epics
they're
quests
talking
that
about
will
Teenage
unlock
Mutant
the
Ninja Turtles
vaults
right
where
now.
we have hidden the really good prizes.
I'm
The
glad I
best thing
noticed.
about that?
I
Both.
clicked off
The
of my
Games Gone Now website
Streamlabs
puts all
OBS to
live
check
streams for
the
Gamescom 2021
Gamescom
are
thing.
completely free.
That's how I was able to
But for
reach
now,
chat.
let's see
And then
what
I
else we've
suddenly
got
I
in
clicked
store for
back
you
and was like,
today.
oh, it's not recording anymore. Cool. Entire scene versus the spider guy with the blood threads.
Thanks to the hard work of game developers and disabled advocates, more and more the answer to that question
She
is
sounds
yes, you
very
can.
excited.
There's still work to be done.
We specialise in accessibility coverage, from reviews, features, news, but we don't just stop there.
Our workshops help studios expand their knowledge about accessibility and inclusivity in games and communities. Writers, community managers, and user researchers learn best practices for every aspect of their work.
I'm even lagging still. Oh, that sucks. Red Bull
gives you wings.
It does now.
Up next, a beloved Sega
Monkey!
franchise celebrates 20 years of Monkey Magic when Super Monkey Ball Banana launches on October 5th. As you've probably seen online, there are some great guest characters in the release, including Beat from Jet Set Radio, Sonic and Tails, and someone else who is set to join the Monkey Gang later this year. Check this out.
I'm gonna ignore Banaries. Fuck the Banaries. We're very close. Before we weren't. Now we're at like less than 10. Oh, I'm watching full screen. Fuck that. I want it. Yeah, we're way less than 10. We're at 3. I wasn't even paying attention. God, I love Monkey. Oh yeah, the Yakuza guys joining, right? Wait, they put the golfing game in? Because there was a Sega golfing game, right? I used to play the fuck out of that game. I love that game. And now they're basically bringing it back, but in just Monkey Ball. God, the game looks so fun. Yo, throw the ball right now if you have balls. I don't have balls. I'm about to run out. I have one singular ball. The game looks so... Oh, Joker from Persona. Morgana is gonna join.
Let's roll out.
Fucking Morgana. No. It makes sense though. I like it. See someone in chat say, why does the game look like that? And it's like, it's supposed
Next up, a game started by 2 Stanford University students out of their dorm.
Splitgate.
This summer, their first release, Splitgate, started setting records with the open beta. More
Yeah,
than
now that
10
it's
million
actually
downloads
decent.
across PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Blending the best of arena shooters with the fun of Portals, tonight it's about to get even more interesting with the reveal of Season 0, which is dropping
Where are the Pokemon
right now.
that I caught?
New map, Carmen Station 3, the new infection mode, and so much more.
Wait, no, 60?
Check it out.
Now I have to put my Pokemon in the PC. Also, I don't like the fact that there's an open slot here. Go in there. Go in there. Go. Boom. So yeah, after we level up the island completely, we can just continue story. Yeah, we fully level up the island, and then I'm just gonna continue till we hit a roadblock. Because it just gives better EXP as well.
And now, here's a brand new look at Riders Republic from Ubisoft.
Boom, baby. Look at that. Trevenant. Can I develop
Hey man, I've been hearing a lot
the first
about
one?
you.
Could be
Play
interesting.
lots of potential. Whew, I'm Suki, by the way. I spent years competing at the highest level. What I discovered is
Yeah, it
there's
gives
so
you
much
extra
more to the
Pokemon.
Republic than meets the eye. So that adventure, exploration, and connecting with the outdoors on a whole new level.
How much do you need for 90? Can I convert all these
This place is
beans?
called the Riders Ridge. It's the heart and soul of the Republic. Team up with friends, other riders, and compete
Basically.
against each other. Yep. It's up to you to prove your worth in the Republic. Take on sponsored events or pit yourself against
Which is
other
not complete.
riders
It's perfect.
in
I
the
can't
biggest,
imagine any
most
way to improve it
competitive
further.
mass races.
That Pokemon Beanstalk is
As the
truly
wins roll
formidable,
in,
but
you'll
it gave
attract
more
bigger
Pokebeans now.
sponsors, better
The more
gear,
wild Pokemon
and
come by
earn
to
your
play in
spot
Marvel at
among
it
the
too.
best riders
If you want
the
to look
Ridge
to help
community
out,
has to
check it out
offer.
too. Thanks for helping me
I'd
improve
really like to
Pokepelagio.
introduce you to someone. This is Brett. He's kind of a big deal. Bike, ski, wingsuit,
Kind of a big
legendary
deal.
status in all three. He's
So yeah, we
always
just
looking
continue
for
playing,
riders
and
who have
then
the potential to become champions.
when we hit a
Okay,
roadblock.
Sparky. If you can show me you've got what it takes, then I'm willing to give you a shot.
Because right now I think we're still fine. I'm a big
It's now
deal.
time for you to win more than gold.
See, it's
Don't
just
worry.
that I need to know
We got your
exactly,
back. Now go get him.
because I need to know when I have to pull a Pokemon out and put one in, right? For the sessions. Because it works at the daycare. Yeah, we'll just go here. Now it's gonna be all new.
The Riders Republic beta started a
gonna be
few days
all
ago
new
for
for
a
me.
selection of registered players who challenged each other in this massive multiplayer outdoor sports playground. And we have some more news to share. I'm happy to announce that starting now until August 28th, the beta
Route
is
7.
open for everyone for free
And
on
now,
PC and
north,
consoles.
dividing
You're
Peak Tunnel.
invited to join
I think
frantic
there are
50
wild
player
Pokemon
mass
here.
races, compete in a variety
Wimpod
of multiplayer modes,
and
or to
Kecleon.
free roam in open world.
I thought there was
set within
also
some of the
a
most famous
trainer fight
US
there.
national parks. The game releases this fall on October
We'll still try to
28th.
get EXP
Learn
boosts
more,
just
check
for
out
like getting the levels up, right?
ridersrepublic.com. And now let's check back in with Natasha.
Okay,
Maybe when I have
let's
to
get our
reset my
first award.
things.
There are a lot of great games coming to Xbox in the next few months, and we
Oh, no,
have
we still got
narrowed
it.
it
Good.
down to 3 very strong contenders. Which one of them will take the Gamescom Award home tonight? The nominees for Best Microsoft Xbox Game are
Wait, since when were
the
the...
action RPG Elden Ring by From Software,
What are the
Ubisoft's
nominations and stuff?
first-person shooter Far Cry 6, the long-awaited Halo Infinite
It's what you call
from
a tunnel.
343 Industries. And the winner for Best Microsoft Xbox Game
Yeah, really.
2021 is Halo Infinite. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Greg Stone, and I'm the lead producer
Cool.
for the campaign on Halo Infinite.
And I'm Damon Kahn, lead producer of multiplayer on Halo Infinite. And together, along
Where
with
was
all
the
of you for
gameplay?
free, we want to thank you for naming Halo Infinite Best Xbox Game.
Since our
It-
start,
they
together
haven't even
20
come
years
out
ago,
yet. What the
Halo
fuck are
has
you
been
talking about?
synonymous with Xbox, and we look to continue that tradition
Route 8.
as we move towards our launch this holiday.
And we want to thank the fans. Some of you got a chance to play the tech preview recently. Just know that there's more on the way.
Lastly, a giant thanks to the team. Without your tireless dedication, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you.
Is it interesting to look at the wild Pokemon? Like Trumbeak and Rattata. Stuffle, that's cool. 。 Anyway, trainers, that's what I'm interested in. Eevee, Quick Attack, Bite, Swift, and Refresh. Level 20. Eevee. Drifblim. Okay, one shot. Cool. I know it's always Z moves, but A. Never said I couldn't, right? Backpacker Kiana. Taurus. I saw you before. You there? Yeah, you ignored me last time. I had the potential in Pokemon. And he gives me Flame Charge. Interesting. Is it the true potential that I seek that surpass the Mega Ring? Apparently there are uninhabited islands for Pokemon called Pokepelago here now. I've already done massive amounts of I know there's a way to crawl here. Yugi out! What? You should be Backpacker Kiana. If you're not, I'm gonna cry. Yes. Okay. Eevee. Imagine if it was faster than me. In some fucked up twist of fate. It's just faster. Bonk. Eevee is dead. What? Salt is evolving? Oh, we're gonna have to fly back because they're getting Fire Punch. Yee, exciting.
Hello, folks. My name is Eugene. I'm the CEO at Strikers Inc.
Yes.
Our studio has been
Incineroar.
to change the world of football simulation games.
My man.
I'd like to introduce
Oh my
you to
god.
GFL, a global online football league that will be available for free on all major console platforms. The key to success in UFL is your skill on and off the pitch.
Darkest Lariat.
Call fat to play gaming. Can't wait to share more. So
And so Scratch.
have a fantastic Gamescom experience.
Sure, we can't use Breakneck Blitz anymore, but we have a different
It has been a
nuke.
full year since we've had an update on Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker
Lego Star
Saga.
Wars.
The first time you get to play all 9 films in one game, and looks like everyone's come out tonight. Jar Jar, 3PO, everybody. All right, that changes today, though, with a brand new look at the game. We're so excited to show this to you. Check it out.
Dude, that's so fucking huge. My Incineroar, not the...
Promise me you will train the boy. Yes, master.
Hold it.
I was once a Jedi Knight. The same as your father.
How did my father die?
He got hit by Joe Mama.
Ready are you? What know you of ready? The rebellion is reborn today. The war is just beginning. And I will not be the last Jedi.
Fire punch, fire punch, fire punch, fire punch. This is what I was waiting for. Instead of Fire Fang. I'm keeping Ember on, like you would think, oh, just teach it Flame Charge, right? I'm gonna keep Ember on, just in case there's like a Pokemon that I cannot use contact damage on. Or maybe my nuke doesn't do contact damage. Who knows. Next phase is a Phantom and a Trumbeak. No priority moves. Phantom. I think they're level 20. Yeah, 20 and 21. Yeah.
The boy has no patience. He is not ready.
I am ready. Ben, I can be a Jedi. Ben, tell him I'm ready.
Haha, funny.
For the past 2 years,
Ember
Next
also
Studios
kills.
in Shanghai have been bringing to life their vision for a new style of shooter experience on PC, a game called Synced Off Planet. It's a new kind of companion shooter where teamwork and tactics
Trumbeak
are
also gets
important,
one shot by
but
Fire
so
Punch.
are the enemy nanos you can weaponize and have fight on your
Weaponize.
side. Tomorrow, I'll be hosting a special Gamescom showcase with lots of in-depth info on Synced Off Planet. But right now, here's the re-revealed trailer for Synced Off
Oh yeah,
Planet.
you lose speed when you evolve, right?
The Morpheus chip.
Yeah,
A
you're
revolutionary
60
implant
speed
that
now.
bridged biological and digital. Soon they found a way
Right now
to
I'm
rearrange
Torakat
matter,
here, so I have to pay
but it
attention
went
to
wrong.
that.
We were surrounded by nanos, and they turned on us. Billions of lives lost, the world we knew, over.
I want to use my new Incineroar power.
But we found a way to sync with nanos. To control them. Now the remaining survivors are fighting back. Those of us left are trying to get on shuttles headed for the only safe place. Off-planet. And the tech that almost destroyed us might just save us.
Cool.
Next up, another fun surprise for you guys, the Outlast Trials. In this horror survival game, you play a part of the Murkoff
Outlast.
Corporation. You're a test subject in a controlled training facility in the middle of the Cold War era. Red Barrels up in my
You
home
are
country of
the
Canada
one
has been
that
hard at
goes
work
like,
on this
hey,
game where you can face the trials solo or with up to 3 others in
I'd be interested
multiplayer.
in move
And
Skydrop.
tonight,
If
I
you
am
are,
so
beat
honored
every other
to
trainer on
world
Run.
premiere
No,
the
I'm not.
brand new trailer for this game.
So yeah,
launching
Rising
in
Star Mikey. You should be
2022.
that. The cool thing about Fire Punch is that it cannot miss.
I want you to know that you are safe. I'm your friend.
Well, Ember also killed it. Cool.
You presented yourself as able-bodied and eager to make improvements. Wicked child.
Fire Punch.
Your behavior.
So cool. So cool.
Don't fight the process. We're all working to unlock your potential. You can't hide from me. Your new self. A better self. A productive
Now you have a Stuffle.
of society. Thank you for volunteering for the therapy. We are all going to get better. Together.
Better together. Just to make sure I'll put Chili up front. Yeah.
Next up, something a little lighter. We're going to head into the creature-collecting open world of Dokkaevi from Pearl Abyss in South Korea. This unique, vibrant world looks absolutely beautiful. What you're about to see is actual gameplay footage from this action-adventure experience where you befriend these adorable beings that gain strength from people's dreams.
Miracle Seed. Cool. If I had a grass type, that'd be very, very useful. Oh boy. It's a bunch of little kids. It's weird. Why is this an actual anime opening? That's funny. It's actually just an anime opening. The berry saved me last time. Okay, next trainer. Amora and Ammonite. Wait, does the Amora have like snowboarding or something? It's a hidden ability. So it doesn't have that, right? And Ammonite, do you have sturdy? No, so too much shell armor. Or weak armor if hidden ability. They better not have hidden abilities, man. That would suck. Wait, there's a preschooler with a Kangaskhan that just has fling, but is holding no item. Wait, it's not picking it up. Cool. Okay, there you go. Look at this. Fling, hold item, no item. It's gonna fling its baby. No. God damn it. But yeah, we're looking at Amora Ammonite. Ammonite. Hell yeah, it kills. Yeah. Item. Ultra Ball.
That one looks so fun. Back at Summer
No, it
Game
doesn't.
Fest, Jeff Goldblum joined me to reveal Jurassic World Evolution 2. Now it's time
What?
to find out about the release date and get a first look at the gameplay of this simulation that lets you take charge of one of the greatest theme parks of all time.
Okay, what's the trainer class I'm looking for? Scientist. Okay. So it is that guy. So it is that guy. You. Research, research. Alpha in-game footage. Thank God it is. Tyrone used the next attack? More like dead attack. Got him. Yeah. Yeah, now it's preschool Halo with the Kangaskhan. Just have to check Driftbloom, right? Level 19, because they have to balance it or something. My HP, my hidden power is not fighting. Why did it change to fighting? Last time it was...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jurassic.
Oh no, it fucked up. My IVs are all fucked. My hidden power is still rock. Supersonic Sky Strike and not one shot. And it has fake out. See, it's just like it has flame.
Far Cry is a franchise known for its incredible villains, and with Far Cry 6, the team at Ubisoft has perhaps found
Like it has
Hollywood's
flame,
greatest villain, from Breaking Bad
but it also
to
doesn't have an item.
Mandalorian.
But then why does it
Emmy-nominated
flame?
actor Giancarlo Esposito leads a talented cast as a dictator.
Is it
Anton
just to like
Castillo.
add?
Anton is willing to sacrifice his own people to turn his country
Oh
into
yeah,
paradise
the
for
Breaking
his
Bad
soldier
dude
Paris.
plays that character.
Danny Rojas,
I love
who
that
will
guy.
join the guerrillas who oppose him in their fight
I'm a
across
gorilla.
the island nation of Yara. If you like a deep story with compelling characters, Far Cry 6 should be at the top of your list later this year. Let's
Fossil
take a
Restoration
closer
Center.
look with the world premiere story trailer for Far Cry 6 coming
Shit.
this October.
Miss Tilly,
34.
I'm afraid I only have a few minutes.
Let's get right to it.
Hmm.
Yesterday, your network, Yara Vision, was hijacked by rebels.
Oh, don't shoot!
They called for the liberation of so-called outcasts from Viviro labor camps. Is Viviro produced with slave labor?
Viviro saves millions of lives. Do you think that those lives care where it comes from?
You were imprisoned at the age of 13, the same age as Diego.
I've been to the
You spent
Festival
a lot
Plaza
of time
before.
with your father.
He is a great teacher.
A lion finds calm before the kill. Fire me!
I
Look,
understand
yes,
you were
some
forced
PP.
to
Why
endure
not?
15
We're here.
years of hard labor, pruning tobacco. I hear you still have the blade.
When Yara becomes paradise, my methods, no one will care.
Oh, quick balls, we
You are
can
the
buy
only
them.
survivor? I watched
Huge.
Castillo order a whole boat of our people shot to death. Get as far away as you can from that psychopath. All of you.
A revolution is not won by the fearless.
It's won by the feared.
Welcome to Libertad, Danny.
I have a vision.
To rebuild paradise. A cure.
Viviro, the most effective treatment for cancer the world has ever seen.
Oh.
Rome,
Well,
we
if
hit
you're
our precious tobacco.
asking,
But our
then I don't have to worry.
paradise comes at a cost. This our enemies will never
Not to.
understand.
Out. Now.
Your safety zone. You want me to kill Anton Castillo? Kill a dictator who has raped our land and turned our people into slaves? Thinking about it. What about you?
You're gonna be a fucking guerrilla legend.
Guerrilla. Oh, hey, Pladion. What are you doing here?
But I promise you one thing. I will be fearless.
It's not that he suddenly challenges me, right? Get out. Oh. Definitely doesn't challenge me.
Or be ruled. You are a lion. And we eat the fucking lambs.
I cannot wait to play that game and see Giancarlo in it. All right, now it's time to catch up on Blood Hunt. We showed you this free-to-play battle royale game from Shark Mob back at Summer Game Fest.
Golfer.
And it just keeps looking better. Pending on which clan allegiance you
I'm
go
guessing
for,
that's
create your own
Alan,
vampire,
so it's
your
Hoot Hoot.
playstyle can dramatically change, allowing for a broad range of ways to survive the night. So tonight, we're going to get introduced to one of these clans and their traits.
Okay, at least this time we can one-shot him. Well, if we don't use a Z move, it's just hidden power rock.
What is beauty?
Hello.
A scenic skyline. A striking garment, perfectly fit.
For a king.
A chance encounter.
Boom, baby.
An encouraging voice in a time of need. Stunning radiance that overwhelms the senses.
Oh boy. Oh wait, you're a golfer. Other girl. Male. Here, let me help you with your swing.
A humbled foe begging for mercy.
Yeah, we could just completely ignore the kid.
For beauty,
We're just flinging.
we kill for it. We are artists.
Fartist.
Toreador.
Artist, fartist. Got him. No, I'm good.
After a successful
Black belt
alpha
guy.
period of testing and improving the game, developers at Shark Mob are now ready for the next step. Early access on Steam begins September 7th. Catch all the details and sign up now at
A
bloodhunt.com.
Wimpod.
All right, up next, we all
Interesting.
love a good amusement park, and we've missed them this past year. Well, now it's time to give you the world premiere announcement
Interesting.
of Park Beyond, a brand new take
Should
on
I
theme
catch it?
park management simulations.
No, I'll catch it
Bandai
after I finish the
Namco and
trial.
Olympic Entertainment, coming in
I think that's the
2022
better
to
way of
PC
going about it.
and next-gen consoles.
We're here now. Might as well go in because, well, we can look it up right now, right? Lush Jungle?
So, be honest. It's another classic, eh?
It's a little old-fashioned, don't you think?
Oh, nonsense!
Right.
Everything's brand new. They haven't made most of these rides since the 80s. Or
Is it all the same if it's Ultra Sun
The
or...
reason is that nobody wants to ride them.
No,
anymore.
it's different. Okay.
But it's okay. I think we just need a little help.
I will punish myself for not getting it right.
oh yes.
So I'm not looking up the
Very
answer.
Impressive. Oh, the engineering is going to cost.
Synthesis, Excisor, low sweep, and solar blade. Does it immediately call?
Visioneer I used to be. This roller coaster.
Uh,
Feel the magic of it already.
what is it? We'll call Kecleon's first turn. Call Comfy if its HP is below.
Thrilling bursts of speed? Is this even possible?
Does it matter?
Impossification!
Cool. Impossification. So it doesn't immediately call the Kecleon, right? That'd be bullshit. Yeah, no, because, I remember. If you fight it, you'll do damage, and then it's like, oh, it's below 50 upon the, or like below 2/3 of its HP, and it'll immediately call Comfy. So I didn't even know it called Kecleon.
Your creativity, my friend.
Didn't even know that. Solar Blade Power Herb. That's actually so goated. What if you like thieve the Power Herb and then kill it? Just so you have a free Power Herb. That'd be crazy.
First announced last year at the PlayStation Future of Gaming event, Jet.
The problem
Far
is
Shore
it's
comes
plus
from
2
Super Brothers
speed, and
High
I think I
Incentive,
get outsped them
interstellar space adventure
because of
where you explore a mysterious planet in the hopes of carving out a future for a civilization on the brink of extinction. It's a little close to home. Today, we've got an exclusive new look and a release date. Jet is coming to PS5
and a
PS4,
release
and
date.
Epic
He
Games
just made a
Store
funny joke.
on October 5th.
Yeah, it sort of gets outsped, so I can't even use it to finish the trial. Unfortunate. We could just flying press one-shot this Lorantis. Fun. So yeah, we just equipped the Flyinium Z. Yes. And we can flying press, which is both fighting and flying type. So we'll do super fit. But if it's like a steel type, like resists. Now I need to know. Now I need to know. Take Agron, for example. Like level 30. Flying press is 23. Brick Break would do. 70. Yeah, Flying Press might just not be the play. I need to know how it works. Flying Press deals damage in this generation. Blah blah blah. Despite being a fighting type move, the damage dealt is actually a combination of fighting and flying types, and thus its effectiveness against a given Pokemon just from other fighting type moves. Okay, yeah. So 2 times to normal, grass, ice, fighting, dark. Singular to water, fire. Huh.
Right now, it's time for an important development update from Guerrilla about their highly anticipated PlayStation
That sucks.
game, Horizon Forbidden West.
That really sucks. It has more resistances now, right? No, pretty much it just has all the fighting resistances and electric.
Hi everyone, hope you're enjoying the show so far.
But it also has a
My
lot
name
of
is
just like
Matthijs de Jonge,
singular.
Game director on Horizon Forbidden West. I'm here today to share some exciting news on our upcoming sequel. It's been a few months since we at Guerrilla were able to share our first gameplay experience as part of PlayStation State of Play, giving you a glimpse of where Aloy's journey will take her next, and showcasing exciting new elements.
Yeah,
like
Lawrence
swimming,
gets one shot.
free climbing, expanded melee
And I
combat,
will be punishing
and more.
myself if I get it wrong.
At that time, Horizon Forbidden West had just passed a major milestone, and we had entered the final stage of development. On track, but a bit uncertain if we would be able to polish the game to the level of quality.
The cool thing is that the Comfey that if you get it wrong does not have Triage, and the Ally does not have Triage either.
We've been adjusting to
Oh,
new
if I get the
workflows and other
no, the
challenges,
Sudowoodo is impossible to get
keeping our
wrong.
team safe and prioritizing a healthy work-life balance. But today we can finally confirm that our long-awaited sequel will come to both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on the 18th of February 2022.
Dude, I'm gonna catch the Wimpod, and I'm gonna catch Fomantis, I think, or a different grass type.
We're so grateful to you, our amazing fans,
Hold up.
for your unwavering support. We know how much you're looking forward to reuniting with Aloy and her friends,
I need to know.
continuing her story and exploring a new and dangerous world. Your passion, fan
We're
art,
at 5.
cosplay, virtual photography, and videos have meant the world to all of us. Before we go, there's one more thing
Lush
to share
Jungle,
with
I
you,
just want to see
and
what the
it's something
encounters
our
are.
community has been
You
asking
can also
about
catch
for a while
Steenie.
now. The patch
Dude, that'd be
for 60
huge!
FPS support
Queenly
for
Majesty
Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation 5 is live
puts a
right now.
stop to
You can
all
find more information on our social
priority
channels.
moves.
From all of us
So
at
Queenly
Guerrilla
Majesty
PlayStation,
could be a
thank you for all
play.
your support and enjoy the
Holy
rest of the
shit.
show.
Amazon's New World is set to take us to the mystical land of Eternum on September 28th after a successful summer
Just
of
tossed all the
playtests.
intro.
Now we've got a brand new look at this
Might sound like a mellow mess, I guess. Let's go for the first ingredient right away.
September 9th. And if you're watching on Twitch, make sure to connect your account to get the Twitch drop of the Verdant Trapper apparel skin by watching 15 minutes of this very show. And after the world premiere, check out my interview with game director Scott Lane. Take a look.
You can find the Mago berries around here. Okay.
The stories you've heard.
I also find Fomantis. Well, let me click on the Lush Jungle one. Because I love Mago berries too. If you take a Mago berry that the Fomantis set their eye on, they might not take it too kindly. I'm gathering ingredients here, just let me know. So how'd you know that? Let me check.
The island is indeed a place of legend.
A Mago berry that the Fomantis set their eye on.
And vast riches as well.
Like you see Fomantis in the background, and you look at this one. What about the other Fomantis? Yeah, no, they look both look at that one.
Have simply vanished without a trace. Your ship is stocked.
I don't see a single Fomantis looking at that one though.
Charge your course and your fate. We can pretend.
The airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars. Living trees that are dripping with honey. Oh, I guess this one could be more, because it's exactly the same as this tree. So it's just this one. Wait. Sour scent is wafting the sap? Wait, if they're looking at honey trees... You need to find a muggleberry for me, but you'll find a lot of certain Pokemon called Fomantis living around here. They live in trees that are dripping with honey. Find the ingredient you're sure you want, come show them to me. Yeah,
That
dripping
was the
with
Gamescom
honey.
trailer for New
Like, this
World,
is sweet
joining
and
me now
sour.
is
The other
the
one's
game director
sweet.
from
This
New
one's
World,
sour.
Scott Lane. Scott, how you doing?
Even though the Fomantis are looking at
Great,
it.
Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. You guys had a very successful closed beta test this summer, right? Tell us about it.
Yeah, we were thrilled and humbled by how
Yo.
that went. You know, over 1 million people.
With their eyes
showed
on
up
it,
to
you might
play.
be taking something that Pokemon thinks belongs to them, and then they may come attack you later. I'll be fine.
And it was just so fun for the team to get to play
Yeah,
alongside
it's sour,
everyone,
so...
watch those streamers, and we got so much good
Yeah,
feedback.
they're fine.
The team's even more focused on shipping a great game than they were before.
I never knew that that was
the
the
game
thing.
is coming out September
Harvest honey
28th.
from the flowers that
Before
bloom
then,
here in the
there will
jungle,
be
but
a
you'll also
public
find plenty
beta
of
for
flowers
fans.
where there are
Yeah,
lots
we're
of
opening
flowers.
it up to the public from September
Plenty of
9th
Pokemon
through
where
the
there are
12th.
lots of flowers.
So if you're not familiar
When you
with
find the
New World,
ingredient
come
you're
check
sure
it
you
out.
want, come show
If you
them
want
to
more
me.
information on how to
Okay.
participate, you can go to www.newworld.com.
What are you doing here? You'll see
Before
the
we go, I
Pokemon
wanna
lured
ask
in
you
by
about,
flowers and gather around
post-launch
them.
content.
Watch
What do
out
you
when you
have,
see a bunch of flowers if you don't want to get
for
attacked.
players
These
after
ingredients are important for this trial, but they're also very important to the Pokemon that live in the Lush jungle. This big glob I'm going to give to Mallow too was a result of serious effort on the part of my Marowak and I.
So for us, launch is really the beginning. It's day one.
Oh, is that the Mossy Rock? I can get Leafeon.
Continue engaging with the players to help
So
drive
lots
the
of
goals that
flowers,
we're
right?
game. I can't get
Oh, hey.
specific on what we're talking about.
Ta-da.
I can give you some hints.
Grass knot.
Players have already been
Kind of a
asking
good
for more
move.
supernatural elements and more weapons. So we got a pretty cool way to combine those into a deliverable that they'll see shortly after launch.
Oh, cool.
And then players
So yeah,
are
lots of
asking for
flowers. So I guess just
content
the
and
one with the
expeditions,
least
so
amount of
we're working
flowers.
toward that as well. And then, you know, with the holidays right around
Right,
the
Mellow?
corner, I'm pretty excited to see what that might look like on Eternum.
Anybody else
All right,
find plenty
thanks
of
so much
Pokemon
for
where there are
joining us,
lots of
Scott.
flowers? If any.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, that one has the least flowers.
Earlier, we had some big Marvel game news, and today also
From the
marks
few
release
flowers
of
that are
another
blooming here.
Marvel game. Marvel is known for memorable characters and amazing storytelling. This next game is something that is sure to excite fans around the world. Today
Probably
marks
fine.
the release of Marvel's first open-world action RPG on mobile, an ambitious new game that allows players to customize their
Yeah, they're
favorite
fine.
superhero and
Yeah,
experience
they're happy.
a brand new action-packed story. Let's take a look at this exclusive launch
And
trailer
Bigwood, huh? You can
for
find them near the
Marvel Future
trees.
Revolution, available to
Deep
download
in
today
the
for
jungle
free
that look like
from the
Sudowoodo.
Apple App Store and Google
The
Play
trees
Store.
that look like Sudowoodo are actually Sudowoodo. Good luck and watch out. When you find the ingredients you're sure you want, come show them to me.
It was an honor saving the world with you all. Take care of it, my friends.
Earths from
Oh wait,
different
if you get the
dimensions
wrong.
have merged into one.
Oh god, Fomantis and Comfey attack you if you get the wrong bush. Yeah, this is clearly not the Sudowoodo.
From the neighborhood. Want to help me protect it?
No world is ending on my watch.
Cool, found it. What are you doing here?
On your knees.
Yep.
I have come for your help, my sister.
Northern 2.
Bring it on.
Let's turn up the heat.
I'll be fine.
This is a war we'll have to fight together. Welcome to Omega.
That one's like the easiest one.
Tales of Arise.
The first one is actually the hardest one because you actually have to read about the stuff.
Enters a new era on September 10th. Here to celebrate Tales is Lindsay Sterling, performing
Is the
a
honey?
rearrangement of
God,
the
what's
classic
wrong with
Tales of
Lana's
Arise
hair?
song.
Just like clips. The big root. It's all done. It's purple. Use engage from somewhere within the underbush. Honey. Look at that big man. Step, step. Get to it. I didn't even check if my speed was faster. My speed was faster? 92, yes, it's faster. Might as well just nuke it. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from nuking it. Another save, another save. You're stronger than I thought. You're gonna draw out the best of your team. You can quite a damn lot lower Antis, a totem Pokemon of Lush Jungle. All the ingredients you without even battling any Pokemon. Appreciate you looking out for the Pokemon living here in the jungle. Well, looking apart, my Marowak didn't stand a chance, nor did the Arachnoid that I trained so carefully. All three of Akala's trials. Good. Sheesh! Alright, so now we'll start with catching Wimpod and, a Steenie. Go like grass, okay? Grass, I'll fuck you in the ass. Need some Pokemon from Lush Jungle. Here, have some Nest Balls. That's for bug types, though, not grass types. Ooh, well, can't let go. Well, like, already gush it out some. It's Pokemon's taste buds, right? I think it's probably best to save it for when Lurantis wants some more. Who says she thinks it's delicious? I think people who would enjoy food cooked for with Pokemon too. Your guys' loss. You can just go to this, Olivia. See you around, dumb fucker. Well, I'm going to Olivia too. Come back. How'd you clear Mallow's trial? Yeah? I then have a present for you. Little TM right here is Smart Strike, a move you'll never miss. Huge. Still type move as well.
Is out right now. While Tales of Arise brings the Tales of
There'll be all kinds of discoveries and new experiences to make your adventure brighter. There's a facility, yeah, that I want you to go check out on your island challenge. The Dimensional Research Lab. Let's get on over with extreme speed. Congratulate you on clearing all three of Akala Island's trials. Why am I reading everything? I mean, of course I'm gonna grass type catch. Oh god, it's anime. Anyway, we get to save. Pog. Like actual save now. I'm gonna catch myself a Wimpod first. Cut him off. Oh, it's a mobile game. Anime mobile game. I'm interested. It's like Genshin, but not Genshin, clearly. Yeah, they've got my interest. Tales of Luminaria. A Tales of game on... Oh, interesting. Sand attack. So that's still fine.
Check out the Tales of Arise demo.
I can use a nest. Right no. Oh, she gave a nest ball. You can play the demo. Okay, yeah, so we caught ourselves a Wimpod. You're gonna be called...
Play the demo now.
Next up, we have two more awards for you. Best Nintendo Switch game and Best PC game. The Nintendo Switch has become a daily companion for many people, so let's see which games might bring us joy on long train rides next year. These are the nominees.
Sarnies.
Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope by Ubisoft.
No, that's clearly not the best game.
2022
no, that's also not the best.
By Ubisoft. And the winner for Best Nintendo Switch Game 2021 is Mario plus Rabbids
the only two that came out.
Hope. Congratulations.
I'm Davide Sogliani, creative director
Tough competition.
of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. On behalf of the entire team in Ubisoft, I wish to thank you for voting for us. We are deeply honored by
Mate, there was no competition.
I'm so excited to show you more about the game.
There were like 5 votes as well. I'm gonna be brutally honest here.
The best Nintendo Switch game at Gamescom 2021 means a lot to everyone working on the project. And we
also, I need to find the rest of the items here.
Experience this cosmic adventure. Thanks a lot, Gamescom,
Come on.
and see you soon.
Get in. I know you have Queenly Majesty, but a quick ball priority should still work, right?
Is just one viral tweet away from becoming the next big hit. Nominated for Best PC Game 2021 are the up-and-coming strategy hit Age of Empires 4 by Relic
You could be called
Entertainment,
Basil, yeah.
From Software's Elden Ring, Siberia: The World Before from Microids and Koa Labs. And the winner of the Gamescom Award for Best PC Game 2021 is Siberia: The World Before. Congratulations to Koa Labs and Microids.
Hi, I'm Lucas, the lead writer and game director of Siberia: The World Before. I just wanted to thank the Gamescom's jury for awarding us.
Oh, we could even have a comfy with Triage.
Thank you on the behalf of
God.
the team and our partners.
But I don't think it will do good damage, so that's different.
Currently working very, very hard to provide the best game possible. And of course, I want to have a thought for Benoit Socal and his family. Benoit was the creator of the Siberia series, and we miss him. We miss him a lot.
Damn it.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you again.
For Simeon.
I think there's someone else who wants to say something now. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, Inan Zur here, and I'm so happy to be the composer for Siberia: The World Before. I wanted to congratulate the visionaries, developers, and whoever contributed to this amazing game on their...
Okay, so that should be that. Now we go back. When...
Hi, this is Tiny DePass. I'm the founder and director of I Need Diverse Games, a not-for-profit based in Chicago, Illinois. Welcome to the rest of opening night of Gamescom Live.
It's absolutely crucial to make sure that the pathway into games is as accessible and supported and inclusive for members of underrepresented groups as it is for anyone else.
The idea of seeing someone, whether they are someone who looks like you, someone who acts like you, someone who enjoys the same things that you do, that experience can sometimes be life-changing.
A game for those who seek to find
a game,
a way to leave their world,
a way out.
Behind.
Oh come on, just
team up.
Crazy.
Prepare for Jumanji.
Jumanji the game.
Coming
Jumanji the game. Oh lord. Okay, so they're...
hired someone else to kill the guy instead.
And where are they now? You think
Whatever.
these lunatics are still hanging around Ijincho?
Now, no playing dumb and none of your tricks. Don't underestimate me, Yagami-san.
Looks like a Yakuza game. A more serious Yakuza game. Feeling pee-pee. Not really. But
to see even more of Lost Judgment, watch IGN's Gamescom show where they will have a full 7-minute trailer debut of the game on their ONL post show. Now it's time for some news from globally celebrated electronic artist Deadmau5. He's seen all these virtual concerts and said he wanted to do one better to create his own persistent spot in the metaverse, a living world that will evolve with his fans. It's called Oberhassi, and it's coming to Core, a platform for user-created multiplayer games and worlds this fall. Here's your
Go
first
Nebby, you splash.
What is up, Gamescom? This is your good friend Joel, professionally known as Deadmau5. Yes, that is the correct way to pronounce it. Tell your friends. We're here to talk to you all about Oberhasli and Core and bringing game development to the masses. Oberhasli is going to be just a really great place for Deadmau5 fans to come and hang out.
Oh, he even said Deadmau5. He said Deadmau5 is really
We're going to offer interactive concert
Dickhead.
experiences. We've seen virtual concerts. We've been there. We've done that. There was no
Fortnite,
shelf
poggers.
life to it. So the future plans for Oberhasli are switching it up and keeping it cohesive with real world events. You know, what's happening with Deadmau5 and the tour, the music and the releases have some longevity to it, be upgraded. It would be the gateway to the brain of Joel in the world of Core. The thing about Core, of course, is
Ew,
people
how?
are passionate about world building.
Ew.
Are building this huge gamut of playable stuff, whether it's a racing game or a FPS, a battle royale. The
That'd be so
variety was
cool, and
amazing. My
meanwhile,
first
like
day
concerts
in
going
Core, I
on,
found this game called
you can just listen to it.
Mergelandia, and I did a 12-hour non-stop grind on it. It was just so addicting. If you like counting spaghetti, this game is like for you. I'm seeing a lot
35.
of variety on there, so if you're an avid gamer like myself, launch Core and just browse. I wouldn't be surprised if you got hooked on something within the first hour. It's great.
She's like a mom to me.
Thanks, Joel. And now here's the next big thing coming to Fall Guys. With Season 5 in full
Fall
swing,
Guys.
Disney and Fall Guys are teaming up again to bring the perfect guest to your jungle-themed shenanigans. Let's take a look.
No way. No fucking way they are doing it. Donkey Kong. No. It's Jungle Book. Disney? Though? Really? That's surprising, actually.
Now, one game that got a lot of attention in June was replaced from Sad Cat Studios. The team is hard at work on the game, but did want to give a quick little tease of their progress and news on that incredible song in the trailer from the Xbox Games Showcase in June.
Here comes the money. The ultra money. The crack in the sky. Past the PMC. Why did he say that? It's literally right here. Anyway. Let's look it up. What's up next? Donald French fries. Oh shit. Damn it. Trailer song. Now available. Cool. Yeah.
I'm listening to that tonight.
Lit.
All right, it wouldn't be Gamescom without a hot
Scareface pluck ancient power and agility on this
This
Arkin.
year, Age of Empires 4 is in full force with an exclusive
Hmm.
gameplay reveal for you. A new campaign and a new civilization showcase leading into its release on October 28th. Check it out.
The pages of history are filled with moments that determine an empire's fate. Every decision can be the difference between rising to power or being
Like,
lost to history.
be like,
How will you grow a small fort into a mighty empire? Every empire, no matter how large, came from humble beginnings.
we can start using the Pokepelago.
Advancing technology to
We can start
create
using the
the most
Pokepelago.
powerful armies. How will you use your resources to rise above the rest?
What do we do? We just had, because I'm gonna put a save state. What do? We grabbed a couple, we caught 2 Pokemon. The save state is not really gonna work, though, is it?
earlier this year,
Especially
Valheim,
since it
a
took
brutal exploration and survival game for 1 to 10 players, took over Steam.
Valheim.
Sold over 7 million copies in just under 2 months.
Huge.
Reached a peak concurrent of over
Anyway,
500,000
Wimpod.
players, the 5th game to do so in Steam history. Well, tonight, Iron Gate and Coffee Stain are excited to announce
Coffee Stain.
Valheim's first content
Level
update,
30 is when it
Heart and Home,
evolves.
has a release date. This update
Does it not
focuses
learn
on
anything?
base building
Okay, it
and
doesn't learn
survival
anything, so that's actually
experience.
great.
Builders
We just
and
have to
cooks are gonna
calculate
have a
when it
field day.
evolves.
Here is the beautifully animated
It's a
trailer.
species Wimpod. Start with that. To reach level 30, it needs 27,000 experience, so that's if you do 99 runs, it's gonna be because 30,000 is the max it's gonna get, that's 29,700. So just have to count down. Well, basically we just have to do 89 runs. Yes. We have to do 89 runs. Well, no, actually we already have experience. We're starting from level 19. It's already had some experience. Yeah, from level 19 to level 30 is a difference of 20,000. So basically, what that means is that we do 66 runs or 67. But we've already. So I'll do 65 runs actually. Yeah, I'll do 65 runs with this thing in there. But I have to quickly check, I have to put it in the box. And also Steenie, level 21 currently. Let me look that up. Steenie in here.
And I've got
level
one more award to announce.
21.
Tonight. PlayStation is also expecting
Oh, Wimpod has
to
a
get
bigger,
whole bunch of awesome
a harder
titles in
EXP
the near
curve than
future, so picking
Steenie.
the best one turns out to be a real challenge. These are the 3 nominees for Best Sony PlayStation Game for 2021.
At level.
Once again, the promising Elden Ring by
Oh, it
From
needs
Software.
Stomp to evolve.
The 17th installment
When
in
does
the
it learn
Tales
Stomp?
series,
29.
Tales of Arise from Namco Bandai.
At level 25
The
learns Teeter
horror
Dance, so
game
you can just skip
Dark
that.
Pictures House of Ashes
That's good.
by
That's good.
Supermassive Games. And the winner for Best Sony PlayStation Game 2021 after all these
21 to
nominations
29.
is Elden Ring. Congratulations.
6,458.
こんにちは、from Software.
Just about
この度はこのような素晴らしい
just about 15,000, so that's 50 runs.
開発チーム一同
49.
光栄に
We'll do 49.
エルデンリングはここ十数
Yeah.
年の
We'll do 49, that will bring me to 28, very close to.
また新作タイトルとして
Okay, so 49 with both Wimpod, and then we just do like an extra 16 with Wimpod separately.
我々のタイトルを楽しんでくださった方はもちろん
Well, actually, we can take this time to, like, for example, Instant Roar just evolved.
ありがとうございました
So we can check. Can I just, like, put it in there? It's level 38 that learns Thrash. Incineroar. Level 34 currently. 30,000 to level 38. 47,000. Oh, that's 14,000, huh? Well, what does it learn? Thrash? No, we can just skip that. We can just skip that. Next move it learns that it's important is Flint. No, I say skip that, but it learns it. It learns it. That's the problem. It teaches it. Don't forget that. It teaches it. It teaches it. It teaches it.
Hello, Gamescom, and welcome to Opening Night Live. I'm
Not a big fan of the quiet nature, though.
Today, we'd like to show you our new song and video, Steel Commanders, that we did together with Wargaming and World of Tanks. and we cannot wait to play this song live.
So would
and hopefully
teach it
we'll
of
be
a
able to
rapid
play live
spin,
again soon. So,
right?
until
Because
then,
that's the last
let's
move
battle.
it has. Or just a move that's put at the top. Because then I can just put sweets in at the top. We should test it. Oh wait, now that I think about it, if it teaches it, then what I'm doing right now is wrong. I just have to test if it takes away the first move. So do 50 runs. Yes, do 50 runs of that. Yes. Then we can see if it takes it away or not.
Is back on the road, and you can watch us live on Twitch. We're bringing all the good stuff you know.
And we're not gonna add instant roar.
Chance to win a Mackie for 3 months. Go to twitch.tv/TeamFordzilla after opening night live.
Fuck yeah. Team Twitch, baby. Twitch, stay winning.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Genshin Impact continues to deliver meaningful updates to fans, and now it's time for its first crossover character, Aloy from Horizon, who is set to join the game in the 2.1 update on PlayStation
where
on
is
September
it?
1st and on all platforms for version 2.2. Here's a first look.
Am I
at her
blind? Yes. I am super blind.
Aloy,
There it is.
if I have to share something, it'll be
Ooh,
my
she looks
heart.
good.
In the service of people who need the help.
What's her skill going to be, though?
This'll pack a punch.
It's a grenade. An ice grenade.
You're stuck now.
4?
The hunt is on.
Cool. Level 30 is when Zoro evolves. So we're not going to put that in because he's literally level 29, right? Yep.
And that's not
I'm
all,
just saying.
Genshin Impact fans. We also have some breaking news to share with you about a special event planned this fall. The Genshin Concert 2021, Melodies of an Endless Journey, to
Just
celebrate
looking-
the game's 1-year anniversary. Coming this October, here's a sneak preview.
We'll just
of the
test it with
Flanders
Wimpod and
Symphony
Steenie right
Orchestra
now.
in Belgium, performing a theme
Belgium?
familiar to Genshin Impact
Hey.
players.
Hey. What are you talking about? A team in Belgium. My country's actually important? Holy Flanders? Huge. It's so fucking crazy, right? Like our... Well, that was it. Amazing. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Oh, cool. Just as big as our country.
Plays just as good as it looks. It reminds me of the fluidity of combat.
Crazy how like the moment our country is even mentioned, it's like, oh my god, we're important.
Film with realistic raw combat. You play a young kung fu student that has spent their life
Anyway,
training
50.
for that day of reckoning after an assassination squad brutally murdered your entire family.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Well, today I'm excited to share the news that Sifu has a release date. Here's a sneak preview.
Emulation save state. We just save state here, right? Just so I can test it. If it teaches over the first move or if it teaches over the last learn. So that would be, it'd be either Sweetson or Rapid Spin. Level boost. 99. Why'd I click 99? Hold up, no. No, stop it. Stop it. Yes. No, play longer. But we want 50. 50 was the... 50 was the thing, right? 25 hours. It was 64 for the Wimpod. Yeah, I just have to stop it before because it doesn't evolve in there, right?
But right now we're going to head back to
That's what happened with
Germany to
Torcat.
check in with Natasha. Take it away.
Thank you, Jeff. Once, there was a time when gaming was a niche and gamers were only a tiny group of people without a lot of influence. But now, we are
Gamers, rise up.
We are one of the biggest communities in the world, and thus, we can help change the world. One way to do this is with the Gamescom Reforestation Program, where we can plant a whole forest.
Hey, it's the Mr. Beast forest, dude.
From the creators of Plant Turismo, Leaf of Legends,
Plant
and
Turismo.
Minecraft.
Minecraft is just Minecraft.
Expansion Pack 2021, launch soon. Gamescom Forest. Not a game,
But a forest.
but a game-changing project. Thousands of trees were donated by the best community in the world because we need oxygen even more than a good Wi-Fi signal. Save a bee, plant a tree. Let's grow.
Huh, cool.
The Gamescom Forest.
There's a
And
look at the
that's it for me
Citra
tonight. I hope you had a blast and are excited for all the new games coming in the next month.
documents.
Don't forget to check out Gamescom
No,
Now
not
and
that
our
documents.
German live streams on Twitch and YouTube for even more games and talks and fun. Thank you very much.
And now it's lagging. And now it's lagging. Those hips are deadly. Shut up. Those hips are deadly.
I'll see you tomorrow. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you
Oh
so
god, I
much,
don't want to go
Natasha.
through the entire...
Now, back in June, we were joined by Hideo Kojima to announce Death Stranding Director's Cut for PlayStation 5. Tonight, Mr. Kojima has prepared an in-depth
Kojimbo.
video to give you a look at the gameplay and many of
guess-
the new features,
Let's
missions,
see if I
and
can
more
find it.
that you'll encounter when the game arrives on PlayStation 5 on September 24th. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy an extended look prepared just for opening night live at Death Stranding Director's Cut.
I don't know. Nope, that's wrong. 0000000. Just look for something with a lot of zeros. In the wrong file. Zero, 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 zero. Look for something like that. It didn't find it. God, I need to save file looking for bullshit. No. Wait, we just set a save state before we did the thing. Now I'm gonna set a save state after we do the thing. Stop the emulation. Open it. Save data location. Close this. Reopen it so it doesn't cap my speed.
There are
I
now
need
new items that allow
I need to
for
keep
easier
my that
and safe
file
delivery.
open, man.
One of the new items is the Evolved Stabilizers, which features thrusters that help reduce the impact of landing when jumping from higher areas.
Yeah.
The Cargo Catapult is a cannon-like device that can launch
Is there
your
a save
cargo
file?
over long distances.
Why did I open up the game? Who knows? I am kind of stupid, so...
Enabling you to develop even more creative ways to deliver your cargo safely.
So I am
and
kind
more
of stupid.
efficiently.
So... It kind of goes hand in hand, don't you think?
Faith in yourself.
Me being stupid.
Your trusted partner, the BuddyBot, has increased capabilities also.
Yeah, trainer info.
If you want to move around comfortably while carrying more cargo, you can rely on BuddyBot to assist you. Load up what you want to deliver, and leave the cargo carrying
Actually,
to
do
your
I need to do this?
You can
Hold on.
relax and think about what you need for the next delivery.
Such a... No, no, you're not doing this to me, Dan. Please come back. Please come back. No, it's doing it again. Oh no. It's back, it's back, it's back, it's back, it's back.
The firing range has been set up in the basement of the facilities. Practicing how to handle your weapons
Right,
will
I
level
need to
up
change
your
my...
delivery skill set.
I sound so desperate every time it comes to that shit.
Score.
29. Then 22. So it's more than 25. Oh wait. Wait, didn't I save? I said, oh no, I was gonna try to back up my save file.
As you progress through the game, you'll also be able to unlock
Oh,
new
I said
missions and
I
weapons.
save stated, didn't I? Oh, I'm so
The
stupid.
Maser gun is one of the new weapons
Okay.
that will be introduced. It
You
has
have to
a few
redo it.
different functions. It can inflict sustained stun damage to enemies. Boss battles can now be revisited and fought as many times as you like via your private room.
What does this guy think he is? Jesus. Thinks he's badass. Kick his ass. He thinks he's badass? Let's kick his ass. We can change that, yeah. Just need to keep a backup file at all times.
Your scores will be shared in the all-new online ranking system, allowing you to compete with players from around the globe.
50, just have to see again if it's either Sweet
8
Scent
new
or
tracks have been added in the music player.
Rapid Spin.
You can listen to the tracks in the private room. It will help you and Sam relax after a long
So
day
yeah,
of
now
travel.
we can save. Close and reopen Citra. All this setup just... Just gonna set it to the next day. Next month. Next month. No more euros. No, not save. Already gone through that.
New action-packed delivery missions have been added.
Why is it slower now? I literally restarted. 33:31. Wait. It's 300 per session, right? It's 300 per session, right? That was the whole thing?
What truth will Sam unfold?
Wait, now that I
in
set the
mysterious
save state
facility?
to that place, it's free, right? Oh my god. I just played around it so hard. I have a save state now in that space, so I can just save whenever and just save state back. I thought my calculations are off, dude. That's 15. Wait. It's 300 per session, and you do 50 sessions. Wait. 3,000. Yeah, it's 15,000.
We've also added jump ramps, enabling you to jump over valleys and crevices.
Oh wait, no, didn't I miscalculate?
You can even do tricks.
At level 31 will learn Sucker Punch, so no, we're not continuing this.
There is a new
well, it
race
was
track.
to check.
You can time attack with other SAM players from all around
if you
the
say
world.
take back, I want to see
online in the rankings.
you. Magical Leaf, Teeter Dance, Stomp, Air. Wait, it learned a different move. When was Aromatic Mist after ever a thing? Oh, come on. Oh no, I'm stressing out now. And Magical Leaf is the last one. Yeah, that thing. Go to Steenie! Holy fucking shit. Wants to be annoying? I'll be annoying back. Ba-doop-a-doo-boop. Ba-doop-a-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boop. Ba-doop-a-doo-boop. Yeah, no, my math is so off. Do I get, like, bonus EXP? Because, fuck, my math is off. I'm looking at it wrong. I'm looking at the wrong fucking Citra. Hey,
more Gamescom to go and more reveals tomorrow and Friday. Gamescom is not over just yet. And I will see you again
Why did it load
this
Canary?
December when the Game Awards returns live around the world for our biggest
What the hell's going on?
celebration yet of the world's
They're
biggest
so
and
loud.
most powerful form of entertainment. But before then, in October, I'm happy to announce, no, I'm not going to be in Monkey Ball, but I will have a cameo in Disney Plus's upcoming Halloween special, Muppets Haunted Mansion. I can't believe this is happening. That's a sneak preview of me. I got to film this earlier this year. Can't believe it. Video games are taking me everywhere. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Have a great Gamescom, and we'll see you again soon. See ya.
Oh, before that, I'm gonna put Magical Leaf second. Yeah, that's weird. Summary. Yeah, right now. Is PK Hex wrong? Is that it? That's 6,458. To reach level 20... Well, I can reach level 29. I'm fine with that if it does it right. It's 13,000. Yeah, I was way over. Jesus. So my math isn't wrong, I'm just stupid. My math isn't wrong, I'm stupid. That makes so much sense. Well, yeah, the Gamescom thing is at its end. So I put Magical Leaf, so... Yeah, between 21, 29, so 6,400, 90,000, so that's 13,000. Yeah, it's 13,000, right? Mm-hmm. 1,000, that's 40... 1, 2, 3, 43 runs? I'll just do 40 runs, just don't even... Well, actually, I can do 43 runs. Absolutely. Or 42. Last time I was level 33 of 50. As long as we don't reach, I'll just do 40 runs. 40 runs would be 12,000. Would be 12,000. If you think about it. Wait, will this thing even have Queenly Majesty? Honestly, I'm asking the real questions now. Will this thing even get Queenly Majesty? Well, leveled up while knowing Stomp. It's literally Leafguard or Queenly Majesty. And this is Leafguard or Oblivious. Okay, yeah. Mine will have Queenly Majesty. Oblivious Queen. good one. Well, we're gonna just like, yeah, if I type in plus 12,000, 18,458 is 28. That's 40 runs. That's 41. It's 42. It's 43. It's 44. It's 44. It's 44. 658. So there'd be 247 lost. So yeah, 44 runs. Weird that an extra 6 are enough to get it all the way to 33 though. I don't understand why it's I'll just do 42 actually. Looks like we're ready to go. Yes, wanna leave the Pelago. The Key Lago. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, so we can save because we have the save state. And we even have a backup save file. So closing and reopening because else my speed will be capped. And we hate capped speed. That is a fact of life. Is IGN doing an after show? Well, I'm not interested in watching IGN's perspective. They're boring. They're boring. Yeah, it's 32, and I did 42 runs. Well, at least we can see. Look at Stomp. Yeah, at least it hasn't learned Aromatic Mist. So if we take back... Rapid Spin, Razor Leaf. Okay, yeah. It works exactly. Well, this is not Gen 8 Rapid Spin, but it would still be interesting to have. Bog on the beat. Buy your beats now. At bogbeats.com. But I want to be close to... Is it just wrong about the Is it just wrong about the calculations? That might be it. It might just be wrong about it. Level up. It's 300 XP per session, it says. The bonus corresponding to the chosen drink. When a group starts on me, see pretty soon. Boost drink is used. All Pokemon in the group receive XP gain shown on the chart below at the end of each session. Oh, come on. The end of each... what was it? Hold up. Oh, where was I? The amount is not subject to bonuses for outside Pokemon. What? The Pokemon may level up and learn new moves, similar to the daycare facilities. If this happens, forget the first listed move in its moveset to learn a new move. Okay. But I'm getting more EXP than... Is it... If it's 500 XP, that might explain it? Like, it might add up instead of just, like, being 300 per session? That might explain it. So right now I did 42 runs, so that would be 12,000, 13,000, nope, 12,600. if yeah. But right now I'm level 32 with a little bit extra to spare, actually. So between level 21 and 32, 6,400. That's 21,000 basically. So if it's 500 per, that would make sense. That would make sense. It's 500 per session. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes so much more sense. So we just redo it. Yeah, it was like 13,000 that we're looking for. I mean, if it just learned Stomp, then we might as well just go all the way to between 29 and 30. It's how much? So yeah, wait. So it's 13,000 to reach. So that's 6. What? 6 runs is 3,000. 5. That's 11. 500. 11 would be 5,500. 22. That's 12,000. That's 11,000. 22 is 11,000. So 26. Yes. Okay, yeah, that makes sense where the 6 came from. 26. Okay. God. That's 26 for that. And now to get from 29 to 30. 2170. 21,700. Motherfucker. 400 and 21,700, right? So that'd be just like an extra 4 sessions. Yes. So it'd be 30 sessions. Yeah, we just do 30 sessions. I should be at 29 with a little bit to the next one. That's not gonna be enough for yeah, that's true. All Pokemon in the group receive EXP gains shown on the chart below at the end of each session. So yeah, like this would make it seem like 300 per session, right? But it's actually more. So yeah, we just do 30 hours. 30 sessions. I was right the first time. God. So much preparation just to figure out how the Pokepelago works. That's crazy. Because I'm stupid. It's just because I'm stupid. Honestly, it's just because I'm stupid. I like to sing. Anyway, we should watch another video. Like a, just something documentary style. Which is exactly what I'm... Remember the Carl Jobst video I was gonna watch? And the fraud and deception? Yeah.
Hello,
50
you
minutes.
absolute legends. In 2017, the most expensive video game ever sold cost $30,000. It was a mint condition, sealed copy of the original Super Mario Bros. In 2021, the most expensive video game ever bought cost $2 million. But this was a very special game. Oh, actually, it was the same game. That's an increase of over 6,000% for the same game in just 4 years. something very strange is happening in the world of video game collecting. Headlines are flooding the internet describing new records set for insane prices. But this is an extremely recent phenomenon, and
29?
one that seems to have arisen overnight. For the past several decades, video game collecting has honestly been pretty niche. Truly dedicated collectors seemed to be few and far between, and even if they did amass a respectable collection, there was little fame to be gathered from it. In contrast to something like the art world, where collectors represent the richest of society, flaunting their lavish purchases, video game collecting was mostly done by the purest of heart. Regular gamers, nerds in the truest sense, who were just so passionate about the hobby that they were happy to spend whatever spare cash they could scramble together to acquire a cart here or there, often as cheaply as they possibly could. Video game collectors weren't rich, but they didn't need to be either. Retro video games were never that expensive, therefore basically anyone could do it. And that was one of the great things about it. All you really needed was passion and time. But in 2018, something happened that would change everything. The launch of a company called Wata Games. This was no ordinary launch, and Wata is no ordinary company. There is a select group of very wealthy, very powerful people who are pulling the strings behind this recent spike in video game prices, and those same people are making money hand over fist. When I heard the news of a $1.5 million Super Mario 64, this seemed too ridiculous for me to ignore. I knew there had to be more to this story than meets the eye, and boy, was I not wrong. This rabbit hole is deep. The bubble we are seeing in video games has been seen before in other collectibles for almost half a century. And the crazy thing is that each time it happens, the same people are involved. They know exactly what they are doing, and they know how to extract as much money as possible from suckers who believe the headlines. There is a lot of shady stuff going on, and you won't believe what I've found. This entire situation is fraught with unethical business practices, deception, collusion, and even fraud. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why this is happening, who is causing it to happen, and what needs to be done to stop it. I really hope you enjoy.
Oh my god, you can catch Larvitar? That's cruel. That's cruel, that's cool.
Now, before we get into the specific details about how this entire racket works, there are some concepts that I want you to be familiar with so that you can better understand the context. The first is the difference between the intrinsic and extrinsic properties of an object and how they relate to perceived value. Intrinsic properties lie within the object itself. For example, if we were to examine a painting, the intrinsic properties would be the materials it was made of, and also, of course, how the painting actually looked. The extrinsic properties would be the relationship the artwork had with everything else. Who it was painted by, when it was painted, the context in which it was painted, and how sought after the piece is are all important qualities. When it comes to perceived value, it is the extrinsic qualities of a collectible that raises the cost significantly. Van Gogh paintings often sell for tens of millions of dollars. But if we were to program a robot to paint an identical piece, it wouldn't be worth much more than the cost of the paint and the canvas. Ultimately, both pieces would look the same on our wall. But us weird and wacky humans like to care about the details that don't directly impact us. We are even willing to spend millions of dollars more than we need to because of these details. In the 17th century, during the Dutch Golden Age, an event happened known as Tulip Mania, where the price of tulip bulbs reached insane levels. At the time, tulip bulbs were a luxury item that were highly desired for their intense colors, and as their popularity slowly increased over the years, the price inevitably went up. Eventually, people began noticing the trend of rising prices and started to speculate on the market. Speculating means buying a good not due to need, but purely in the hopes that the price will increase so that you can sell it at a later date for profit. With investors beginning to flood the tulip market, this began a positive feedback loop, driving prices up even more. As the price increased faster, not wanting to miss out on the opportunity, even more people started buying in.
FOMO,
this caused the first recorded speculative bubble in history. And there are two important things to know about these types of bubbles. First, no one buying actually wants tulips. They just hope to make money. And secondly, this process is not sustainable, and eventually people stop buying, and the price crashes. Those left holding tulips lose everything as their value plummets back to normal. I want you to remember this process because the exact same thing is happening with video games right now. But the difference is that this current video game bubble isn't an accident. You see, if you know how speculative bubbles work, you can theoretically create them at will. All you would have to do is raise the perceived price of a good quick enough so that speculators see the trend and start entering the market. Then, you can just sit back and let the positive feedback loop do the work. Profiting from your artificially created bubble by buying games early and selling later is rather obvious, but there are actually smarter ways to make money, ways that incur far less risk. In the current video game market and the collectible market in general, there are two institutions that stand to gain the most from increasing prices. Those are grading companies and auction houses. A grading company is a business that inspects games, certifies them, and gives them a rating of quality. They are basically quality assurance. They allow buyers to know exactly what they are getting, which enables quick and easy transactions. In a bubble, people are flocking to get their games graded in the hopes of profiting from the increasing prices. But it's not just the extra business that helps grading companies, as they also take a percentage of the market value when grading a game. A game worth $10,000 might cost around $400 to have graded, but if that exact same game was valued at $1 million, it would cost over $20,000 to have graded. It's a pretty good deal. But the institution that really profits the most by far is auction houses. Take Heritage Auctions, for example, which is where all of the current record-breaking video game sales are taking place. They charge a 20% buyer's premium on every sale. So if you buy a video game for $1 million, you need to pay the auction house $200,000 on top. And just for shits and giggles, they also take 5% from the seller as well. You can begin to see why grading companies and auction houses would really want prices to go up. It's in their interest. This is also why grading companies and auction houses should never be speculating on the price of goods or impacting markets directly. They have a huge conflict of interest. And whenever you see a grading company or an auction house talking about how valuable games are, you know it's because they want to drive prices up. Again, you'll need to keep all of this in mind. I'm going to provide you with a ton of information, and I'm going to trust you to connect the dots. If you are really interested in learning what's going on, I suggest writing down details as we go, or watching sections more than once. Let's begin. The two institutions that you will become very familiar with are Wata Games, the video game grading company, and Heritage Auctions, the auction house. Wata Games was founded in 2017, but it didn't officially launch until April of 2018. Wata Games is the linchpin behind this entire bubble, and the certification that Wata provides is the justification for why they are sold at such high prices. Interestingly, Wata wasn't the first video game grading company to exist. In fact, the Video Game Authority, aka VGA, has been grading games since 2008. But the introduction of VGA didn't cause a bubble like the introduction of Wata Games did. And the reason is simple. VGA didn't manipulate the market or go out of their way to create a bubble. The same can't be said for Wata, however. The president and CEO of Wata Games is Dennis Kahn, and he is a key player. The other important company, Heritage Auctions, was founded in 1976 by Steve Ivey and Jim Halperin. Steve Ivey isn't very important to this story, but Jim, on the other hand, is critical. Heritage Auctions are in the business of selling rare collectibles and memorabilia. They sell coins, comics, art, anything you can collect that has value. And in 2019, they started selling video games. But not just any video games, only games that had been graded through Wata Games. The interesting thing about the relationship between Wata and Heritage is that it seems to have existed before Wata even began grading games. On the initial website of Wata, when it launched, it had a dealer spotlight section where it listed key relationships. One was Heritage Auctions, where it stated that Wata-certified video games will be featured in Heritage online auctions. This doesn't make sense. The entire point of certification is to guarantee authenticity and quality, but a guarantee is worthless if you haven't established a history of accurate work. Why would Heritage Auctions, a prestigious auction house, agree to sell games from a company that hadn't graded a single game? Why would they trust a business that hadn't even done any business to begin with, when there was already an existing grading company that had been grading games for 10 years? The only explanation to me is that Heritage Auctions was involved in some way in the creation of Wata Games, and knew that it was on board with their mutual
Shouldn't
goal.
they be transparent about that,
And if you
though?
needed any further evidence of this pre-existing relationship, Jim Halperin, the founder of Heritage Auctions, was listed on the Wata website as an advisor. Another business that Wata had a relationship upon creation was Just Press Play, a distributor of used video games which was founded by Zach Geig. Just Press Play also announced that it would be selling Wata certified games. Now, in order to create a speculative bubble, you need a way to spread information very quickly. You need to draw in new eyes and make potential buyers aware that a market is building. The easiest way to achieve this by far is to create headline-worthy events that can disseminate through the media. In this case, it was the purchase of a Super Mario Bros. Cart for $100,000 in February of 2019. Before this sale, the previous most expensive video game ever sold went for $30,000, so this new sale was a pretty big deal, big enough to generate headlines. But the even more interesting thing is who bought this game. It was purchased by 3 men. The first was Jim Halperin, founder and chairman of Heritage Auctions. The second was Zach Geig, founder and owner of Just Press Play. The third was Richard Lecce, who has one of the largest video game collections on the planet. Heritage Auctions then issued a press release about the sale, because of course, the purchase was never about collecting the game, it was about publicity. And if this wasn't obvious enough, Jim Halperin advertised in this press release that the game may end up in a future auction. Dennis Kahn, CEO of Wata Games, also chimed in, stating, quote, "Wata certified video games have been selling for record prices ever since Heritage began auctioning them in January. While many video games sold regularly for 5 figures, breaking the 6-figure mark shows that the hobby's upward trajectory indicates no signs of slowing down." So what you have here is the chairman of the auction house buying a game for a record price and then creating a press release about his own purchase in which himself and the president of the grading company are stating that the value of games is going up. He then advertises that his own game will be going up for auction in the future.
I guess nobody really cared to look at who bought it, more that, oh my god, sold for this
immediately
much.
Jumped on this,
Makes sense.
and many articles about the purchase were written. Kahn's tactic of pumping up the perceived value of games would be seen in every article. For example, in a Kotaku article, Kahn states, "I've always said, video games are going to go the way of comics or cars or coins. It's only a matter of time until a video game sells for $1 million. In an Ars Technica article, both Kahn and Halperin were again pumping up the perceived value of games, with Halperin stating, "There are bets on what will someday be the first $1 million game, and many collectors believe that this will be the one." It's so strange to me that news articles allow the owner of a game to advertise that its worth is 10 times what they paid for, and not a single eyebrow is raised.
16 speed.
They did everything they could to raise awareness about the sale. They even took the cart onto
That was such a risky
Pawnstars,
strat,
claiming
though.
it was worth $1 million.
Pawnstars.
This appearance was the perfect
Wait,
opportunity
really?
to establish
That
Wata
was
Games
them?
as the authority in grading.
I saw that
despite
episode.
having only existed less than a tenth of the time that
They didn't-
VGA had. Pawnstars even had Dennis Kahn come on.
They
and
even
again,
said that
he
it's
pumped
impossible.
Up the value, implying that it was worth at least 3 times what they paid. Remember what I said about grading companies. They shouldn't be manipulating the market and driving up prices. Dennis even faced backlash about this from intelligent collectors, who knew what he was up to. But of course, this didn't stop him. He went on Pawnstars multiple times, valuing games
money
at
is
insane
still coming
prices.
in, so he
I can give
doesn't
you
have to worry
dozens of
about that, right?
examples, but the point is that there was a very large, very effective campaign to establish Wata as the authority on video games, despite having only been created. It was critical that Wata was seen as the be-all and end-all in video game grading,
bug
because
and
then
water
the words
type.
of its CEO, Dennis
Netball
Kahn,
should be
would be more
twice as
effective
effective.
in increasing the value of games. Kahn would continue
I
to
hate
abuse his
netballs.
authority as the head of Wata Games for the next few years,
I hate
appearing in
netballs.
countless articles and interviews, and always
Wow, look
pumping
at
up
that
the price.
publicity.
In fact, he's still doing it, even with the
Jesus.
ridiculous price of $1.5 million that the recent Super Mario 64 went for in July. In a Verge article covering the record-breaking sale, Kahn states, I think that we are going to continue to see record-breaking sales.
God.
Again, this is purely to make people believe the price will continue to go up in order to fuel
More
speculation.
manipulation.
All of this press is driving up
Oh,
prices,
yeah, it
but
will
it's
go
only
up even
one
more.
half of the equation. You also need people to actually buy games, but the people buying these games aren't who you'd expect. If you thought they were video game collectors hoping
Nope.
to complete their collection, you'd be wrong. Let's
Just
take a look at who's really
employees.
buying up these games.
And then there are some collectors that are stupid
Video
enough to
game
fall for a
collecting
trap.
has taken an interesting turn in the past few years. Over the last decade or so, I've been a big fan of watching collectors' videos on YouTube, where they
Because they're
proudly
passionate,
show
right?
off what they've amassed. In my experience,
they're passionate. It's
genuine
really cool.
collectors love sharing their prized possessions, but that's not what we're seeing with these record-breaking sales. Nowadays, the buyers of these expensive games are hidden from the public. Identities are kept secret, and no one takes credit for anything. It's all really strange. Heritage auctions will never tell you who the buyers are, or even if money was actually exchanged. However,
What
there
the
are
hell?
ways we can tell who bought some of the
They
games.
can just say,
and
"Oh,
this is where
yeah,
things
it
get
did
weird.
sell for this
Several
much."
weeks ago, I was investigating the relationship between Wata Games and porn stars, given that the original appearance of Wata on that show was obvious collusion between the grading company, the auction house, and the show. In particular, I was
The show.
researching the appearance of a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out that Dennis Kahn valued at $80,000. Through a Google search, I found something very interesting. It was a purchase agreement of the exact same cart. The owner of the cart, Brian, had sold it to a
80,000.
company for the exact same amount that Dennis had valued it at. The buyer was RSE Archive, LLC, which trades as Rally. Rally is a platform that allows investors to buy and sell equity shares in collectibles. To put it simply, people can buy a fraction of a video game, and if the price goes up, they can sell their slice to someone else in order to make a profit. It's essentially
Wow.
gambling on the price of
Stocks?
collectibles, and it's as silly
Stocks?
as it sounds. None of the people who buy equity in any of these
That's like-
collectibles
that's like stocks,
actually own
right?
it. It's purely to try and make bets on the price and earn a quick
Because you can
buck.
own, like,
The purchase
a
agreement
part
I
of the
found
company,
for the Mike
that's the
Tyson's
stocks,
Punch-Out
right?
was an SEC filing. Companies that hold these items and sell equity in them need to disclose their assets to the SEC, so
Oh,
we
yeah.
can track exactly what they buy and how much for. There are 3
Else
fractional
tax
share
evasion
companies
shit
that have sprung up
happens.
in the past several years that are selling equity in video games. Mythic
Yeah.
Markets,
Something
Otis,
like that.
and Rally. Each of them was formed immediately following the launch of Wata Games. Through their SEC filings, I can track their purchases. Rally bought a Super
Sorry,
Mario
that was not
Brothers
funny.
for $140,000 in 2020. This was the same cart that would eventually be sold for $2 million just this month. From Heritage, they acquired this GoldenEye for $22,800, this Grand Theft Auto for $13,200, and this Donkey Kong for $38,400. Mythic Markets also bought this Metroid for $46,800. Otis also bought a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for $130,000. From Heritage, they bought a Pokemon Yellow for $78,000, this Golf for $18,000, and many other private purchases. Aside from these fractional share companies, we can also see people buying games from Heritage and trying to flip them on eBay. For example, a Super Mario that was bought for $84,000 in September of 2020 is now sitting on eBay with an asking
Oblivious.
price of $1.5 million.
No.
I haven't heard
I
of a
can't use this
single
one.
legitimate collector buying
I'm getting
any of
Oblivious.
these expensive games. It's entirely speculation, purely
Mm-hmm.
for profit. But there have been attempts to fool the public into believing that actual collectors are buying these games. And one of the biggest cheerleaders for this fake narrative is Eric Nyman. In 2019, a
Fucking
slew of
Eric,
articles
dude.
sprung up about a video game collecting dentist who bought $1 million worth of video games. The original article was posted by the Washington Post.
Come
But if you
on.
know the real story, this article is insane. It describes Eric Nyman as one of the world's most avid video game collectors. But in reality,
But you
he had
don't
only been
know.
collecting for several months. He began only in 2019 at the beginning of this bubble. There are many people who have been collecting games their entire lives, but this man comes
was
along
so close
and he's
too.
instantly the most avid collector in the entire world.
Hmm.
The article claims that he bought the games, but this is also not true. He wasn't even using his own money. The money was put up by a group of investors, not by
God.
Eric Nyman. The article becomes even more suspicious when Dennis Kahn again rears his head to hype up the market. Heritage Auctions also shows up advertising that the market is increasing. Eric makes his intentions clear by stating his opinion that video games should be selling for millions, which of course would benefit him greatly after his purchase. So why is the Washington Post and many other news outlets touting Eric, who only entered the video game market in 2019, as the forefront of collecting? Why is it falsely stating that he bought the games when it was actually an investment hedge fund? Why are Wata Games and Heritage Auctions always there to give their opinion on the market? It's because this is not news, it's propaganda. Eric Nyman is part of the small group of people at the very top, building this bubble in an attempt to make money. He is a talking head with one purpose: to trick people into believing the video games he owns are worth millions, which he will then sell. He can be seen alongside people like Dennis Kahn, always attempting to inflate the market. And this isn't a secret. He admits his intentions freely.
Of course, that same week I discover on Heritage Auctions vintage video games, which I never even knew existed. And then when it played through in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this is like so much better than cards for me. I mean, also it was a new and emerging market like you guys are having with NFTs. It's that excitement of like, wow, if this even catches up a quarter of to where cards have gone, you know, we could see 100x returns just at the beginning, you know.
So he's immediately thinking about the returns.
As a collectible
which
investor,
you shouldn't.
This was like everything that I saw on a Mike Trout card, but like to the max on steroids. And for me, it was a time machine. It was literally like if you could like I always said to myself, I would look at like Nat Turner's collection of cards on Instagram at that time, and I was like, wow, if only I could go back 10 years and just like hang out with him and just buy everything he was buying. And, you know, it's that time machine that everyone has. You guys have with NFTs. It's always that if I could go back, I could be a billionaire, right? So I said, this is my moment that I'm going to go back in time.
Why am I not flying?
But it's going to be today, and I'm just going to just go for it. So we set up, we spent time, we set up an LLC, we made a business plan, and I went to like just neighbors of mine, family, friends, all like successful, wealthy people. We spoke about all the risks and the benefits up front. They knew it was speculative, and I'm like, listen, but they all said the same thing. They're like, you seem super passionate about it. If I lose 15 grand on you, it's not the end of the world. Give it a run. To show even on Heritage Auctions, eBay Auctions, look, we already what we spent appreciated 20 to 30%. This is working.
Amount.
I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna help make the market. I'm gonna let people know about this. I'm forming a market of around something that I feel that is severely underappreciated. So that's what I was doing.
My point is that it's not collectors that are buying any of these games. It's purely people with a lot of money, trying to scam other people out of theirs by manufacturing a bubble that otherwise shouldn't exist. Propaganda isn't their only weapon either. It gets much worse. We will now enter the wonderful world of shill bidding.
Shill bidding.
When it comes to auctions, there is only one thing that will consistently drive up the sale price of goods, and that one thing is competition. Obviously, if there is only one bidder, the price will never go up. You are not going to bid more if you already have the top bid, but if two or more people are duking it out, that's where the price can really shoot up. Shill bidding is the act of placing fake bids in the attempt to raise the price. Usually this is done in collusion with the seller, because the seller wants to make more money for the item they are selling. So they will work with a third party who will keep placing fake bids up to an agreed price, at which point they will concede and let the victim win the item. But it isn't just sellers that have motive for this kind of practice. The auction house itself has just as much to gain from inflated sale prices. If your auction house sells goods at higher prices than your competitors, people will want to sell their items through your auctions. And this is where we come back to Heritage Auctions. In 2008, a lawsuit was filed against Heritage Auctions for shill bidding. It was filed by Gary Hendershot, who was a former employee.
Yeah, the thing about shill bidding is that it's very hard to
a shill bidder by the name of N.P. Gresham to drive up prices. This lawsuit was ultimately settled out of court, so you may or may not want to put any real stock in it, but it is something to take notice of. Especially when Jim Halperin, one of the defendants, and if you remember, one of the investors who bought the record-breaking Super Mario, was caught lying in a sworn testimony. He originally claimed that MP Gresham didn't exist at all, but later had to admit they in fact did. If this lawsuit was the only claim of shill bidding, I might be less inclined to believe it, but the story doesn't end there. While I was researching
so
for
level
this
20 to
video, I
29.
spoke at length with Pat the NES Punk, who is one of the most dedicated collectors of
So
NES games
30.
there has ever been. He told me he was contacted by a comic book collector and seller whose father not only worked at Heritage Auctions, but was also friends with Jim Halperin. What
30,
he had to
30,
say
30,
was
30,
shocking, and Pat graciously connected us so we could talk. The
5,400
collector,
to
David Wilson, who
29,700.
founded and runs Collectors Comics,
Well, we'll just
told me
do
this.
the 16,000.
Hi,
right?
my name is David. I'm from Comic Book Investments on YouTube.
So
My
that's-
dad,
My
big-time
dad.
comic book dealer in the
28.
80s and 90s. He ended up taking a job with Heritage a couple years ago, and he had a personal relationship with Jim, and they had a personal relationship for years. And then through the relationship, that's how he got a job working at Heritage. He was a comic book grader. He worked for Heritage for almost 2 years.
Yes, and then
And
B300
during that
left.
time at Heritage, he had a few conversations with Jim. My dad told me, because I would talk about the video games, I was like, hey, Dad, I can't believe this video game sold for so much. He was already gone by the time the video games have reached where they are at now. And he told me, he's like, yeah, so they're manipulating the market. And my dad gave me an example. Jim is one of the biggest comic collectors in the world. He has one of the biggest collections in the world. This is huge. And what Jim does,
Just
and this is
says
what my
three.
dad said, he would take a comic book, let's say he would take this book, right? He put it in his collection, and then like 3-4 years later, he'd throw it up on Heritage, and then he would manipulate the price by bidding it up. So say he bought the book for $3,000 forever ago. He throws it in a Heritage auction,
Jesus
and then
fucking
he
Christ.
bid it up to say like $5,000, $6,000, buy it from himself. Basically, he bids it up, and then he sticks it away back in his collection. And then every couple years later, 3, 4, 5 years later, whatever it is,
So people will be
takes its
like,
way back into the
oh,
Heritage auction.
it
does
went for
again.
this
And
last
what
time,
that does is it
and then
stimulates the
next
market
up
by
it's gonna be
pushing
like,
it
oh
up,
yeah,
propping
wait,
it up
so we know
higher than it is
Oh
to
my
show
God.
like, hey, there's been a sale of this comic book or video game for this price, so that means it must be worth that much. And that's that's kind of like what I have a feeling that they're doing with video games. They're propping them up like super high, higher than they should be, to create a market, manipulate the market into thinking that these video games are actually worth this much because they have sales data to prove it.
Data.
If this is true, and everything I currently know about Jim Halperin leads me to believe it probably is, the tactic definitely works. When items are sold at higher prices, it raises the perceived value of every similar item. It's even more effective if you purchase items at record prices. Every time a video game sells higher than ever before, the internet is flooded with articles advertising your auction house. For over 2 years, all we ever heard about was all of the insane prices that games were going for on Heritage auctions.
Did I fuck up?
Naturally, this makes people want to sell their
I
games through
fucked up.
Heritage as
I-
opposed to anywhere else. But with all of the
It's
reports
32.
of shield
Yeah.
bidding, reports of buying
didn't
their own
do the
items,
extra.
and the intense
Really?
secrecy of purchases, we don't know if Heritage were
I forgot
involved in
to-
any of these
yeah.
record-breaking sales. This is why we also can't be sure of the recent $2 million purchase from Rally, as again, the ridiculous price, the secrecy, and the obvious motive make it very
We'll load the
suspicious.
state,
Jim
and then-
Halperin isn't the only major player that seems to be using his own platform to personally benefit. It's time to take a closer look at what a games,
So
and
32.
how some of the key figures in that business are using their positions for their own gain.
Oh wait.
Shield bidding and buying your own items at inflated prices are pretty obvious ways to abuse your position at an auction house. But how could you take advantage of your own grading company? The first thing that comes to mind would be grading your own games. This presents a pretty clear conflict of interest, and even Wata admits this. In a New York Times article, Wata president Dennis Kahn goes on record to say that Wata employees are not allowed to have games graded by the company, or sell those that were. I'll say that again. Wata employees are not allowed to have games graded by the company or sell those that were. This makes sense, and I applaud that rule if it's actually upheld. Now let's take a look at a transaction that
don't
occurred
actually
in
do it.
2019 between two
Even the
gentlemen.
employees are
The
gonna be
first is
scummy.
Dane Anderson. Dane is the founder of Nintendo Age, which hosted the largest community of retro video game collectors and enthusiasts on the internet. It also contained the most valuable database of information concerning retro games and what they were worth. If you wanted to know anything about collecting, this would be your first place to go. Dane was also well known for his video game collection, and he had one of the largest assortments of sealed Nintendo games on the planet. But in 2019, he sold his entire collection to a gentleman by the name of Jeff Meyer, who is the founder and CEO of Go Collect, which is a price guide for comic books. The purchase of Dane's collection by Jeff was a pretty big deal, one of the biggest in history. It was so noteworthy that What Games even gave the collection a special name. It was called the Carolina Collection, because both men hailed from Carolina. Jeff submitted the games to Wata, who graded them all, and as part of that grading, inserted the name of the collection they were a part of. And you can see this name on the label of the graded games. Jeff then immediately took the newly graded games and started flipping them through auction houses, most notably Heritage Auctions, where the first auction alone produced a total return of over $500,000. So why am I telling you this? Well, it's because Jeff Meyer is a director of Wata Games. You won't find this information publicly because they keep it a secret, but thankfully the company's SEC filings tell us everything we need to know. According to their own filings, Jeff Meyer is a director of the company. So what you have is the president of Wata Games saying that employees are not allowed to grade or sell graded games, but meanwhile, a director of the company is grading his entire collection. But not just grading it in a special, privileged way by naming it, therefore increasing the value, and immediately selling them through auction houses at insane prices for profit. If the games in this collection were graded just like any other game, there would be nothing illegal about this. However, considering the fact that they were graded in a unique and special way, there is a very good argument to be made here for fraud, especially given that Jeff's relationship with Wata Games was never disclosed to the public. But it gets even worse. Jeff Meyer also purchased Nintendo Age, which, as I mentioned, was the most valuable database for retro video games. Jeff immediately shut it down. He also purchased the website Game Value Now, which is a price guide for video game sales. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but on the surface, it appears as though Jeff is trying to own and control the flow of information about the value of video games, which only ends up being more suspicious given his ties to Wata Games. Again, another huge conflict of interest. Jeff has never publicly admitted to being a part of Wata Games, and the way he talks about his relationship with Wata makes it seem like that's intentional. For example, in a blog post he wrote himself about his upcoming video game price guide, Jeff states, "Thanks to the great relationships with the awesome folks at Wata Games." He is talking in the third person about a company that he is a director of. The cherry on top of all of this is that when Wata Games was incorporated in 2017, Dane Anderson was the executive officer. So this entire deal happened between two men that were or are directly involved with the company. Dennis Kahn obviously knows who the directors of his company are, so it really makes you think when he blogs about the Carolina collection on the Wata Games website, but fails to disclose that the purchaser of the collection is a director. And it forces you to think even harder when you realize that at the very same time he is telling the New York Times that employees cannot grade or sell Wata graded games. There is a good reason why grading your own games is a big conflict of interest, as the grade is extremely relevant when it comes to how much a game can be sold for. The higher the grade, the more valuable a game will be. There is no better example than the recent sale of Super Mario 64 for $1.5 million on Heritage Auctions. Its grade was a 9.8, with an A++ for the seal. It's essentially the highest grading a game could ever hope to achieve. On the same day, another Super Mario 64 was auctioned with an 8.5 rating that sold for only $31,000. That's an increase of 5,000% for a slightly higher grading. This raises another interesting question. How reliable are these ratings? If you are going to spend an extra $1.5 million for a high rating, you'd want to be pretty damn sure that the rating is accurate. Grading companies attempt to make their grading process as objective as possible, but the truth is that they are very subjective by nature. At the end of the day, the grading is given by a human based on their own perception of the game's quality, and history has shown that this perception can vary wildly from person to person. Grading companies have been known to give very different grades for the exact same item, and this has led to a practice called regrading. If someone receives a grade for an item that they believe is not high enough, they will simply take it out of the case and send it back.
7-speed 5
what I
attack.
call the crackout game.
Cringe.
Meaning they get a comic book back, and it comes back CGC 9.6. They think it should be a 9.8. So they crack that baby open, and they keep sending it back to CGC, hoping that at some point, that grader is either going to slip up, or that grader is going to get that book and go, hey, you know what? This is a 9.8. They're going to slap 9.8 on it, and they're going to send it back to that submitter, and that submitter is going to be very happy because in the overall marketplace for certain books, you go from a 9.6 to a 9.8, you just made a large chunk of money. The average collector, the average speculator, and the average investor out there is overvaluing a lot of these items based on the grade, not realizing that in certain instances, the grade is arbitrary. It is an estimation. It is not an exact science.
But you don't even need to regrade games in order to see the blatant inconsistency on display with what are graded games. Last month, a Tomb Raider for the Sega Saturn was sold for $12,000 through Heritage Auctions. It had a rating of 9.8 with an A+ for the seal, but it's immediately obvious that this grading makes no sense. The seal has multiple very large holes, which according to the grading system on Wata's own website is not allowed for A+ seals, which must contain no holes. The seal also has countless smaller holes, scratches, and stains. Quite frankly, it looks disgusting, and yet it gets an A+. I've seen seals with B grades that are better quality than this. My point is that video game grading is not a science, and the ratings given to games are not an exact representation of the game's quality, and yet, the rating is touted as the sole justification for why people are spending an extra $1 million on some of these games. Now you understand why it is so important to establish Wata as the utmost authority on video games, because it makes their ratings all the more valuable. Now, one final thing before we move on. If you knew you were about to create a bubble surrounding sealed video games, what would you do? Personally, I would start buying as many sealed video games as I could. This is Mark Haspel, one of the founders of Wata Games and the current chief advisor. He has been involved in the comic book collecting scene for decades, but was never active in video game collecting. But right around the time that Wata was formed, he suddenly started showing up at video game conventions, buying as many sealed games as he could. Not only that, but he would actively seek out and inquire about sealed NES games. More specifically, the popular ones such as Mario, Metroid, Mega Man, Castlevania, and Zelda. The kind of games we see being sold now for record prices. And remember, this was several years ago. His taste in video games seemed to align perfectly with the same games that would bring the most profit several years later. One collector stated, Mark Haspel was buying sealed 6-packs from a good friend of mine a year before Wata started grading games. Pat, the NES punk, also noticed Haspel collecting games at conventions.
In June 2019, I was a guest at a gaming convention. The weekend of the event, I noticed a small group of individuals who were hurriedly acquiring sealed and complete in-box games from vendors. At one point, I witnessed an individual who I later learned to be Mark Haspel returning to the Wata Expo booth while holding a stack of NES games. I did find it a little strange, but was unaware of any affiliation that person may have had with Wata, so I didn't think much of it at the time.
It's obviously not illegal for the founders of Wata Games to collect video games, and it's impossible to prove intent, but these examples just strengthen my opinion that they knew what was about to happen, and they were preparing for it. Now, before we get to the conclusion, I want to teach you about an event in history that might be relevant to what's happening right now. The great coin collecting bubble of the 80s. Believe it or not, this kind of crazy bubble surrounding a collectible has been seen before. Not to this extent, but still, this isn't a new thing. In the 80s, it wasn't video games, it was coins. PCGS is the world leader in coin grading, and on its website it tracks something called the PCGS 3000 Index. It's an index of the value of coins, similar to something like the Dow Jones. In the historical chart, you can see a massive spike occurring in the late 80s. After crashing, the price has still not recovered to levels seen 30 years ago, and this is without even considering inflation. So what caused this bubble? Well, according to an article posted on antiquesage.com, it was the development of slabbing and the introduction of third-party certification. Slabbing is where a grading company will take a coin, encase it in plastic, and give it a rating. Two grading companies were formed around this time, PCGS and NGC. The article goes on to state that the arrival of PCGS and NGC changed the industry nearly overnight. Now dealers, collectors, and investors could buy or sell slabbed coins sight unseen, because they all trusted the grades given by the major grading services. If you're beginning to get a sense of deja vu, that's completely understandable. This is literally the exact same thing that's currently happening with video games. The fact that people could easily and confidently purchase graded coins meant that they began to sell more and more. This led to the price going up. Investors began to take notice, and more importantly, even investment hedge funds got involved. Kidder, Peabody & Co., Merrill Lynch, and UBS all created coin hedge funds where they took in money from investors to invest in coins. This expanded the bubble even further. But the thing about speculative bubbles is that they always burst. The price cannot go up forever, and at the slightest hint that the peak has been reached, everyone sells. The ironic thing you need to remember is that people who buy collectibles in order to make money never actually intend to collect or keep them. So when the price starts to drop, everyone attempts to liquidate their assets as quickly as possible in order to not lose money. The market becomes flooded, but because no one is buying, the price gets destroyed. In the end, it's the suckers that came in late that lose their money. The bursting of the 80s coin bubble was a big deal, and hedge funds were inundated with lawsuits from people who had lost their investments. Merrill Lynch ended up paying back over $20 million to their investors. The FTC even stepped in to investigate what happened, and this is where things get juicy. In the Antiques Age article I referenced, it said that PCGS and NGC were the first third-party coin grading companies, but this is actually false. The first third-party coin grading company was NCI, Numismatic Certification Institute, which was founded in 1984. After an investigation, the FTC ruled that NCI misled customers about the value of coins. I want to read from an LA Times article written in 1989, and I want you to appreciate how amazingly relevant it is today, despite being 32 years old. The article reads, "By and large, it's grading and rarity that determine the value of a coin. Rarity is easy enough to establish. Grading is often a matter of opinion. It's for this reason that grading services came into being. Their purpose is to give an impartial rating to a coin, which virtually establishes a particular price. But what happens if the grading service misrepresents the grade of a coin, thereby increasing its value? That's the situation described by Bill McAllister of the Washington Post in regards to a recent decision by the Federal Trade Commission. The commission determined that overgrading coins was a deceptive and unfair act, prohibited by the 1914 law that created the FTC. Charged with this practice were two Texas-based corporations, Heritage Capital Corp. And Numismatic Certification Institute. Also named in the action were Steve Ivey and James Halperin, prominent numismatic figures. A consent order was signed agreeing to establish a $1.2 million fund for collectors who purchased the NCI-graded coins from Coin Galleries Incorporated of Miami. Heritage, Halperin. Those names sound familiar. Yes, it's Heritage Auctions and Jim Halperin. In the 80s, they were found guilty of illegally misleading customers about the value of coins.
How were they able to start a new
$1.2 million. From the 1989 FTC annual report, it states, Numismatic Certification Institute and its principals Steve Ivey and James Halperin agreed to settle charges that its representations and failures to disclose information misled customers to the value of coins certified by the company. An affiliate, Heritage Capital Corporation, also agreed to settle charges that it provided substantial assistance to a coin retailer, Certified Rare Coin Galleries, knowing that CRCG was misrepresenting the security and profit potential of its coins to investors. Under the settlement, defendants agreed to a permanent injunction, and Heritage and NCI agreed to contribute $1.2 million into a consumer redress plan for CRCG's customers. Another interesting thing about Jim is that in 1985, he wrote a book called How to Grade US Coins, upon which the grading standards of the two leading third-party grading services PCGS and NGC were ultimately based. Again, these are the two grading companies that Antiques Age cited as the most important factors in the coin bubble. There is a very strong case to be made that Jim Halperin is the single most responsible person for the coin bubble of the 80s. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it kind of looks like he's doing exactly the same thing again 40 years later, but this time in video games. As I've said before, it's impossible to prove intent, but one thing you can certainly disprove is ignorance. Jim Halperin was extremely caught up in the 80s coin bubble and was so responsible that he was fined over $1 million. You don't forget something like that. He knows exactly how bubbles are formed. He's seen them before, which is why he would know exactly how to create them again. Remember, Jim Halperin bought the Super Mario Bros. Cart that sparked this entire game bubble. He is an advisor to Wata Games and, according to rumors, also an investor in the company. He is the founder of the auction house that these games have been selling on for record prices. It's too convenient that this one person is involved in every single piece of the puzzle when he has the kind of history that he has. This doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. The retro video game bubble cannot go on forever. At some point, it will burst. The question is when. There are a couple of scenarios that might make this happen sooner rather than later. The first is the release of population reports. In collecting, one of the things that drives up the price of an item is rarity. In every other realm of collecting, grading companies produce what are called population reports. These reports tell you exactly how many of any particular item have been graded by the company, along with their rating. So if I do a search for Action Comics #1 through CGC, a comic book grader, I can find out exactly how many are out there and at what rating. Population reports are standard practice because they allow people to judge the rarity of an item accurately and fairly before making purchases. But surprise, surprise, Wata Games keeps this information hidden from the public and refuses to let anyone know how many games of each type have been graded. So we really have no idea how many of each game are out there. When more games of the same kind become known, prices plummet. It has already started happening with some games. The best example is Spider-Man for the Atari 2600. In May of 2020, the first sealed Spider-Man was listed on Heritage Auctions. It was a 9.8 A++, the best rating you can get. It was mint condition, and it's such an old game that
10
it's
is literally
surely rare.
just left the
It
factory
sold
or
for
something.
$9,000,
And
which
even
in
in a factory,
2020
some
was actually still a
production
decent
can
amount of money
mess
to
up.
spend on a video game.
There's no such
But
thing
the
as a
funny thing about
perfect video game.
Spider-Man for the Atari 2600 is that it's not
Also,
rare. It's not rare at all, even in mint condition. After this sale, Heritage was flooded with 9.8 A++ Spider-Mans. And when I say flooded, I really do mean flooded. With each sale, the price diminished. In April of 2021, a 9.8 A++ sold for $870. That's a decrease of over 90% in less than a single
That's crazy.
year. When people realize how common some of these games are, prices will be destroyed. And that's what Wata Games and Heritage Auctions are afraid of. Legitimate collectors have been complaining for the past 2 years, but unfortunately, none of them have substantial audiences, and they are essentially powerless against the forces
God
that
damn
are
it,
driving
Miskiff.
this bubble. If you want to help make a positive change, you can send Wata Games some feedback by email, letting them know how appreciated it would be if they let us know how many graded games are out there. The release of population reports would be a good start, but Wata Games and Heritage Auctions also need to stop manipulating the market with their propaganda. Journalists don't even bother asking real collectors what they think about what's happening. They simply get sound bites from Wata and Heritage and allow them to inflate the bubble with hype, despite the obvious conflict of interest. I asked a couple of lifetime collectors what they think should happen, and this is what they had to say.
My name is Pat Contry. I'm a YouTuber,
Hello, Pat.
podcaster, but also a longtime video game collector since the late 90s. I've seen a lot of things in the game collecting world, but what's happening right now with the graded sealed games market is something I could never, ever imagine. And it's a shame that the video game collecting hobby that I've been a part of for decades, and many others, including sellers as well, people that have helped grow this hobby of ours with passion, with knowledge, doing research, putting in the time and effort. This is the end result. The unfortunate end result is that this hobby that we all love has been perverted. It's been twisted to the ends of a small group of people to line their pockets. These are rich people getting richer. And
The rich are getting
they've
richer.
stepped on and
The rich are
stepped
getting
over
rich.
all the video game collectors, all the people that have sold the games, run video game shops, all the people on forums researching
Look at that.
this illustrious and beautiful past history of video games, they've all been used. We've all been used now for the select few individuals to get richer. And it's a trying
sure.
It's probably too late, unfortunately.
Lowers attack as
but
well,
in
right?
a perfect world, there should be full transparency and accountability when it comes to these video games. We should know if someone who helps run the auction house is involved in the buying and selling of the games that are being auctioned. We should know if the people grading the games are buying and selling these games themselves. It's unethical
Dropkick
if
is
they are
so
doing
much
so,
stronger than I
and we should
thought.
know that so we can stamp out
70.
bad behavior.
Now, how can this be avoided? Well, it's quite simple. If WADA
Queenly
would release
Majesty.
and update population reports for all these items that they're grading on a regular basis, this would not be a problem going forward, guys. This is a problem due to the fact that there is a lack of ethics and a lack of transparency in these markets. Collectors deserve better. You guys out there that want this to be a thing, rather than thinking from the standpoint that you're going to make money over the long term in this market, what you should be doing is demanding better from grading companies, from auction companies, from other players in the trade. You should be demanding ethics and transparency.
But you can still think long term.
This bubble isn't
It would
just
suck for
affecting
him
sealed
if he
video
didn't
games at the
think
highest
long-term.
price points. The selling point of every single game has increased dramatically over the past 2 years, even for non-sealed games. Aspiring video game collectors who legitimately want to build their collections will get screwed, because the hobby will become too expensive to be viable. What's worse is that people are using the record sale prices in order to scam people. You can find cart-only Super Mario 64s for hundreds or even thousands of dollars on eBay when they are only worth $10. People with a lot of money and power have taken over collecting, and their thirst for money means we will all suffer. As someone who does care deeply about gaming, it honestly sickens me that these people have turned these cherished possessions into a means to gamble and speculate. And I hope this ridiculous practice of trying to extract profit from the suckers who buy the hype will end sooner rather than later. As a sign of appreciation,
hope, man.
it would be
Can
amazing
only
if you
hope.
could go and subscribe to a couple of real collectors that helped me learn more about this. Go check out Pat the NES Punk and also Sean from Reserved Investments. These two gentlemen have been collecting for most of their lives, and we need more people like this who are not only passionate but are willing to tell the truth about what's happening. Also check out David Wilson's channel, as it really took some balls to be willing to let me know what he had heard. You can find the links to these channels in the description. Hopefully, you have learned something about how those in power can create speculative bubbles. Next time you see them
It's
trying to
crazy
do
how
it,
the
make
same
sure you
guy
call
just
it out
created
and
it
let
again.
them
He was
know
like,
that we won't tolerate it.
how about I
As
just
always,
do it
thank you so much for
again?
watching, you legends. I hope
It's
you are having a
crazy.
fantastic day,
Crazy.
and I will see you in the next video.
Wimbot still hasn't gotten its level. It's about to. And Zoro was about to as well. So yeah, that's huge. Boom, boom, boo, boom, boom, boom. Alright, what's next? What is up next? There are a lot of car jobs videos that I didn't watch. No, this is very view-based. The theoretical GoldenEye record, I can watch it, but people won't. But you won't have the. You know what? Fuck you guys.
Hello, you absolute
watch
legends.
a VOD for.
Something truly monumental has happened in the world of GoldenEye speedrunning. Over the years, some pretty insane strategies
you
have
guys.
been found in the game. Strategies that shocked everyone when they were discovered. Techniques like warping straight through walls and doors, throwing objects across entire levels by R-leaning,
Dude, I'm
and even
throbbing.
shooting
We've got ourselves
objectives
a
through
Zero
solid
arc.
walls and terrain. You can never truly know when the end of these crazy
Light
discoveries will come.
slash.
But sometimes it's not the new strategies that have the potential to break the game open and cause new world records. Sometimes it's the old ones, ancient knowledge that has existed since the dawn of time that for whatever reason has never been realized. Generally, this is due to the strategy being unrealistic, something that might be theoretically possible,
God, I love
but
Sticker
too
Bush
hard or
Symphony.
unlikely to ever actually happen.
It's such a
Of
good
GoldenEye's
song.
20 levels, there is one in particular that is generally
Look at that
accepted
goalie so
as the
hard.
most challenging to complete. It's the first of the 2
It's a
bonus
Digimon.
missions, called Aztec.
Actually,
Guards
so
on this
fucking
level carry extremely powerful
crazy.
rifles and
Good
lasers,
design.
which are the most damaging
First
weapons a
impression.
guard in the game can possess. And it's on this level that a known strategy has existed since as long as I can remember. It's simple, much faster, and isn't difficult to execute in theory. But until now, it had never been completed. The strategy can be summarized in 3 short words: body, armor, skip. And the name is pretty self-explanatory.
I guess save
As
right here so I
previously
can
mentioned,
PK
Aztec
Hex.
is a challenging level.
I'm gonna
but
save
it's
right here
even
and PK
more
Hex.
so when you're trying
We still
to
have the save
speedrun it.
state.
On the hardest
so-
difficulty, 00 Agent, it's almost impossible to survive. And that's even after you've gone out of your way to collect some body armor, which loses several seconds. In fact, surviving Aztec on 00 Agent is so infeasible that no speedrunner in history had ever done it without getting the body armor. That is, until now. On the 30th of July 2021, the speedrunner Gus Riolo was the first person in history to skip the body armor and live to tell the tale. In the process,
Yeah,
setting
why
a
haven't more
new
people
world record,
tried it?
completing the stage faster than anyone had before. In this
Just
video,
do it,
we will take a
lol.
look at why this simple,
Come
obvious
on.
strategy couldn't be done for so many years, and what happened recently that
Yeah,
made it
thanks for
all
explaining,
possible. I really hope you enjoy. Oh, and by the way, I've started a podcast. Check the description and pinned comment for the link. Now, before we go on, a big shout out to this video sponsor, NordVPN, and I will quickly show you what I use NordVPN for. So last week, I really wanted to watch Quentin Tarantino's first masterpiece, Reservoir Dogs. But of course, when I searched for it on Netflix, it wasn't there. But that's only because it's not available in my country. After a quick search, I found out where it is available, changed my location through NordVPN, and bam, there it is in all its glory. I'm already paying around $15 a month for my Netflix, so for just a few extra dollars, I'm getting access to over 5 times as many movies and TV shows. And this is on
You
top of
shouldn't
the
have
other
to do that.
NordVPN standard
I'm just
features
saying.
like extra security and the ability to browse the internet
30
anonymously. Using
attack
Nord is
IVs
really easy.
on
They
this
offer a
Galissa
money
pod.
back
That
guarantee.
does,
and if you use my link in the
balance out
description,
the
you get a
timid.
really great
It does
deal
balance
of
out the
4
timid.
additional months free.
That's crazy.
Just click the link in the description.
It's also crazy
I
how
know what
slow he
some of
actually
you
is.
might be thinking. Aztec
Well,
00
yes.
Agent isn't that hard. I've beaten it before without getting the body armor. In fact, if I was really careful, I might even be able to do it without being hit. Well, we aren't talking about a casual
We're
playthrough
talking
here.
about you,
we are
loser.
talking about speedrunning, where the goal is to reach the end as quickly as possible. Any time taken to kill guards or play safely is time lost, and won't result in a new world record. Aztec is littered with well-equipped guards, and you just don't have the luxury to remove all of them.
Oh,
You
first
will
impression almost kills it,
inevitably
even though
be
it's
hit,
completely
and you'll
resistant.
be hit a lot.
Good
The objectives on
old
Aztec are fairly
Galissa pod.
simple. You need to reprogram a shuttle and launch it into space. The general strategy has changed significantly over the
You can
years,
all out
but
pummeling it.
the climactic second half has remained the same since the very beginning. After reprogramming the rocket, speedruns always finish with a dramatic run through a heavily
Dropkick
fortified
one-shots
room
it.
in order to reach the mainframe that
No,
launches
it says
the
plus
rocket.
one attack.
Once this mainframe has been activated, players
Plus
then
one
seek
attack how?
shelter and try to survive the
Oh, wait,
30-second
no, one EV,
countdown.
one
This
plus
final
attack.
room is extremely well protected. You are faced with 4 highly trained Moonraker guards wielding lasers, plus 4 extremely powerful drone guns. Both
Yeah,
of these
apparently
adversaries do
Dropkick
insane
from
amounts of damage.
Serena
And
just
not only
one-shots it.
that, but in order to reach this room,
31
you need to
special
run
attack,
past
5
2
attack.
additional drone guns located in some
Speed
vents.
20-30.
It's inside these
31
vents
special
that the
attack,
coveted
crazy.
body armor lies, which doubles your health. After entering the vents, instead of turning left, which leads to the final room, you can turn right and head
Vents?
towards a small
Like Among
alcove
Us?
containing the armor. In total, it loses around 4.5 seconds to collect the armor, which includes the time loss suffered from getting back boosted by one of the drones. Realistically, 4.5 seconds isn't a huge amount of time, which is why it's much faster to grab the armor
Pretty sure I don't
rather
need
than try
this
to clear out the
guy
final room.
for a
But even
long
if you do
time.
grab the armor, you're still not certain to get out alive, especially on the hardest difficulty. On the easiest difficulty Agent, skipping the body armor was always a feasible option. In 2001, Wouter Janssen skipped the armor to achieve a new world record of 1 minute and 56
That's
seconds.
a Dutch guy.
And apologies for the terrible quality. On Agent, enemies have
Why are
less
you
accuracy
apologizing?
and inflict much
You had
less
absolutely
damage,
nothing to do with
allowing you to live more often. Grabbing the armor on this difficulty hasn't been seen in top runs for at least 20 years. The medium difficulty Secret
least 5
Agent
seconds.
is a different story. Secret Agent is much tougher than Agent, and therefore going for the body armor was standard practice for many years. You also have to
I'm so
keep
glad
in
I can
mind
use Serena
that it's
again.
not just the final room that
I'm actually a
poses
big
a
fan of
threat.
Serena.
Speedruns require you to run
That's a
past
really good
multiple
Pokemon.
guards on the way there,
I've
meaning
used it
that
in,
you'll be hit
Draft
at
League.
least once almost every single time. By the time you reach the end, you no longer have full health. Unless you were seriously
So,
lucky.
Worker of
Secret
the
Agent
Claw.
was always in this
What a
weird
weird
position
name.
where if
The
you did
Claw.
get the body armor, you had plenty of health and survival was relatively easy. This meant that you could play things
Oh, I
super
completely
risky early
forgot
on
about that.
and simply ignore most of the guards. In October of 2005, Hilary Pekala set
I
a new record on
completely forgot
Secret
about
Agent
this.
of 1 minute and 44 seconds. You can see in the first room, he runs straight through and in the process takes some damage.
Like, I
Playing
can
like
see
this ensures you'll take a few extra hits, but as long as you can make it to the armor, you should be okay. But this changed in 2006, when Brian Bossart decided to play the earlier rooms more safe. By killing guards, he preserved his health, and by the time he came to the vents before the final room, he had so much health that he decided to go left instead of right. In the end, he barely survived with literally 0 health left. Brian did ultimately end up saving time by skipping the armor on this run, but it's plain to see that taking the earlier rooms slower cost him time as well. Since 2006, Secret Agent has been a delicate balance between safety and speed. Some relatively
See, now I
recent
have to
world
watch
records
it,
still
and it's
involved
like, oh
going as
no, what
quickly as
is
you
going
could in
on?
the early stages and grabbing the armor to make up for it. In 2016, David Clemens achieved a time of 1 minute and 31 seconds with the armor, which is still only 1 second behind the current world record. David's 131 will likely be the last ever record using the armor though, as current strategies have made survivability in the early stages of the level slightly easier, which enables players to get more attempts at surviving the final room. 3 people have attained the current record of 130 without the armor, but in all likelihood, this time will be taken lower sometime in the near future. 00 Agent, on the other hand, has always been a different story. Even with the body armor, surviving this monstrosity of a level is terribly difficult. Personally, I've always hated levels where health was a concern, so naturally, Aztec is one of my least favorite levels, and my times are generally slow. Out of every level in the game, Aztec 00
Player Carl
Agent is
Jobst.
easily the toughest to live through, and most runs simply come down to the final room and the question of, will you make it out alive? Aztec is also an interesting level because the objectives are the same for each difficulty. Literally, the only thing that changes is how accurate the guards are and how much damage they inflict.
God, I need
but
some of the
this ends up
drink. Hold
having
on.
huge consequences for how fast you can complete the stage. Skipping the
Soda,
body
zero
armor on
sugar,
00 Agent
iced tea.
has always been a theoretical strategy, and if you were to take the best parts of all of the completed runs, you could easily prove it's possible. For example, we know that provided we have full health, we can definitely survive the final room. Drone guns and laser guards deal 2 bars worth of damage. So if we have full health, that means we could theoretically withstand 4 hits. Generally, the luckiest runs see players get hit 3 times. This is the lowest you would ever expect to go. Just this year, David Clemens even managed to complete a run with only 2 hits in the final room. But in all my years, I can only recall seeing this happen a single time, so it's probably not a realistic target. 3 or 4 hits is definitely doable though, so why hadn't a run been completed? Well, because the problem isn't just the final room. You are almost certain to get hit multiple times before you even reach it. The first room of the level is fairly simple. We eliminate the guards to remain safe and collect ammo, but the second room is where the problems start. We need to reach the secret door on the other side, but standing either side of the central bridge are 2 guards with AR-33s. We really don't have the luxury of stopping to take them out, so we basically just run past and hope for the best. Almost every single run will contain 1 or more hits from these guards. In the next room, we need to lure some guards to open up the large glass doors which are otherwise locked. This room can be cleared and the guards lured reasonably safely, but once the door opens,
or what if it's
change. We need to run out and reprogram the shuttle, but because we have the guidance data equipped, we are basically unarmed. During these vulnerable moments, we are at the mercy of the 2 guards we just lured. Again, most runs will result in multiple hits here, both during the reprogramming and also while fleeing. You are basically just hoping for the perfect guard animations to allow you just enough time to get in and out. Then, we run past even more guards who can hit you if their reaction time is quick enough. After this, we reach the vents before the final room. And this is where a final breakthrough made surviving without the body armor more possible than ever before. The 2 drone guns in this vents pose a major threat. Running down this tight corridor will result in multiple drone hits, and this was a major reason that body armor was such a necessity. Generally, most of the armor was used just to offset the damage taken by these 2 drone guns. That being said, there was a strategy that was developed for a secret agent which allows you to destroy one of the drones, therefore avoiding any hits, but it involves an extremely precise, almost frame-perfect technique in order to get through the computer console that blocks entry to the vents. It's important to point out that in order to launch the shuttle and start the final countdown, you need to pause to equip the launch protocol, and where you stop to pause becomes vitally important. The most logical place to pause is immediately after you blow up the console blocking the vents, as the resulting explosion takes several seconds to dissipate. So you are not really losing any time here.
Look at that.
This explosion does a ton of damage, so it needs to be avoided. The only problem with this is that you won't have a weapon equipped while you are in the vents, so you have no way of shooting the drone. However, it is possible to get through the console explosion without taking damage if you time it absolutely perfectly. This is because in GoldenEye, explosive damage occurs in waves. It's essentially a frame-perfect window, but it is possible to squeeze through the first and second wave of the explosion. Now, with your weapon still equipped, you can perform another extremely precise burst to destroy the left drone gun as you run past. You can then pause afterwards just before running into the final room. On Secret Agent, even if you do get hit by the explosion, it's still not game-ending due to the decreased damage. But 00 Agent is once again a different story. This technique is so difficult it's almost never seen, but it has been tried. In early July of 2021, former GoldenEye champion Luke Sklar did manage to execute the strategy perfectly and make it through both the console and the drone without being touched. Up until this point in the run, he had only been hit a single time. This meant that in the final room, he could afford to be hit a maximum of 3 times. If he did survive, it was certainly quick enough for a new world record, but the odds were low, and he barely made it halfway through the final room before succumbing. The strategy just seemed too difficult to actually do. But several weeks ago on the 7th of July, a breakthrough was made.
If it's the grunt fight and it's a double battle with how?
The runner Ilari Pekala was streaming while attempting to figure out any possible ways to help deal with the drones in the vents. David Clemens, who was watching at the time, made an interesting suggestion. Ilari tested David's idea, and this was the result.
Hearthstone, Hearthstone, Hearthstone. We have that. Last time we had the Raspberry equipped.
No,
Now I can just go.
Clip that. That was pretty good.
They had found a way to trick the drone gun into turning around to face the opposite direction, giving them just enough time to make it to the end of the vents before it hit them. This idea works by initially alerting the drone gun and then quickly going behind it, forcing it to start turning around, and then making a run for the next corner. Bear in mind, this obviously loses a second or so to the other strategy, but it's far, far easier. You can now do the standard strategy of pausing while waiting for the console explosion, eliminating a ton of risk. This was game-changing, and multiple runners began racing to see who could crack the level first. On July 15th, speedrunner Ryan White would have his chance. Heading into the vents, he had only been hit once. Again, this meant he could only survive 3 hits in the final room. And this
Double battle. If the Atkins is intimidated, then I've prepared accordingly. With Hearthstone, Rock Slide. And if it's not,
oh my fucking
then
god.
You know what happens. Interesting. Boom. Oh my god, why is that fight so scary?
A truly crushing defeat. Aztec had now snatched a new world record from the clutches of 2 speedrunners. Who was going to be next? 2 weeks later, speedrunner Gus Riolo had the perfect run. He had made it through the second room and the guidance data upload without taking a single scratch. Pausing for the launch protocol, he had full health, which meant he could survive a total of 4 hits in the final room. And on the 30th of July 2021, Gus Riolo achieved this run.
That failed. Lol. Defeat us, be like. I see Archon, and then there's still the double dickle. Double dickle. Double dickle. Darkest Lariat. It's all coming together. It's all coming together.
For the first time in history, a speedrunner had completed Aztec 00 Agent without the body armor, setting a new world record in the process. Finally, the theoretical strategy that had been prophesized for over 20 years was a reality. 1 minute and 34 seconds is by no means perfect, but the strategy is so crazy that it's not a guarantee that it will be beaten anytime soon. On the other hand, now that the body armor skip has actually been achieved, this might also inspire others to put the time in to create their own history. Now, for those who like Minecraft, I have created the Legends SMP for those who enjoy this channel. It would be epic if we had some more people join. All you have to do is jump in my Discord for the link. As always, thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Still do anything? Oh, that's why. I just wasted all my repels just because I was trying to find his exit. But yeah, it's all coming together, and I really, really like that. Yeah, the Machamp is coming soon. Machamp is coming! Oh, fuck that. We're not fighting this guy. He has Sucker Punch Diglett. We don't have to fight this guy at all. I mean, I could fight him with Serena. Queenly Majesty should shut down Sucker Punch, right? And if it doesn't, that'd be kinda cringe. I'm just saying. I like to sing it. I like to sing it. Okay, next. I've watched way too many. The biggest con man in
Hello,
history
you absolute legend.
strikes again.
Well, they are back at it again. The biggest con men in video game history have filed
Hold
even
up, it's
more
multiple
lawsuits
men.
in retaliation for their fake scores being removed. By now, you're almost certainly all familiar with Billy Mitchell, the disgraced Donkey
old
Kong player and star
fucker.
of King of Kong, who was exposed as cheating in many of his records. I've already covered his current lawsuits against Twin Galaxies in previous
Nice place,
videos,
but I
and
don't
he has
care
now
about
filed
you,
a
looker.
$100,000 lawsuit against the current Pac-Man world champion,
Yes,
David
give me that.
Race. The reason for this lawsuit will blow your mind with its stupidity, and we will take a look at it later in the video. The list of victims that have been attacked by Mitchell through the legal system continues to grow, and he is utterly out of control. Considering the damage Mitchell has caused so far, I actually think I've been pretty restrained in my coverage. But now, things are getting a bit too ridiculous.
Because you're involved.
The man is trying to ruin lives, and I'm now of the opinion he is legitimately evil, and hopefully something can be done to stop him soon. But perhaps one of the more shocking developments is a new lawsuit from
There is a
none
Ditto
other than
that
Todd
is
Rogers.
interactable.
In 2019, I released a video called The Longest Con in Video Game History, which outlined the story behind
First you
his
have Heard the
dragster
Year.
world record. In a nutshell,
Helping hand,
Rogers
take down,
claims to
work up
have
and
the longest
crunch.
world record in video game history, which later turned out to be completely impossible. But dragster wasn't his only impossible claim. Rogers submitted thousands of scores to Twin Galaxies, with absolutely zero evidence to support any of them. Over the years, many of his scores were proven to be physically impossible. Alongside Mitchell, Rogers was also banned from Twin Galaxies after an extensive investigation into his scores. While he always denied he was lying about his accomplishments, Rogers never appeared to be as villainous as Mitchell, as he seemed to just slip away into the darkness, never to be seen again. But he has come roaring back, and wants to prove to the world that he is just as big a scumbag as Mitchell. He has now filed a $500,000 defamation lawsuit against Twin Galaxies, Guinness World Records,
He's just
and
running
Jace
towards
Hall,
you.
the
He's
current
coming.
owner of Twin Galaxies. I am honestly clueless as to what he expects to happen here. Rogers' claimed scores have been thoroughly proven to be impossible by many independent experts. It's plainly obvious that this lawsuit will go nowhere, and I don't think he quite understands what the repercussions are when he ultimately loses. In any case, this lawsuit is arguably more insane than Mitchell's, and in this video we are going to learn
We
why.
have a backup
So
strat.
please buckle up, because the deeper this rabbit hole goes,
I
the
completely
weirder
forgot that
it
Heard Year
gets.
also
I
gets
hope you
intimidated.
enjoy.
It's because the
Now, legends. If
Lileep
you want to
doesn't.
become legitimately good at something, unlike the subjects of this
So I'm
video,
like, huh.
you need a great teacher.
Oh
And
God,
that is where
Skillshare.
this video's sponsor, Skillshare, comes in. The first 1,000 legends who click the link in the description will
Legends.
get 30% off an annual premium membership.
Crazy, I
so
would
you
just
can explore
know.
your creativity. Even if you've already had a free trial,
The
you can still
segues,
take advantage
they're
of this
too
offer to get
easy.
a full year of unlimited learning. Todd
I like
Rogers
seeing
is
it.
the antithesis of Billy Mitchell. While being a part of the same
Shinshu
clique, he never
and
achieved the same
Tentacle.
kind of fame that the star of the King of Kong experienced. Rogers is a far less marketable figure, and though he did appear in the documentary Chasing Ghosts, it was more or less to demonstrate how much of a shamble his life had become since his glory days of gaming back in the 80s. Compare that to Mitchell's appearance in the same documentary, where he
23.
attempts to flaunt his apparent rock star lifestyle. Todd does not exude success, but in the relatively niche world of retro video game high scores, he was a celebrity, and would often be seen tagging along with Mitchell to various video game
God, this
exhibitions.
Serena's already pulling its
Apparently,
weight.
event organizers even paid him to show up. I doubt the
Golisopod
compensation was
is
substantial,
different.
but who could complain about getting paid to attend a video game convention? Rogers was most known for his dragster world record, and I'm sure you've all heard the story by now. His claimed
Yes.
score of 5.51 seconds was proven
Was
to be
literally
physically impossible. There is literally no way a score that fast could ever be attained. It's simply prevented by
Yep.
the game's code. This was demonstrably shown by multiple independent parties, and there is just no doubt to their conclusions. Once the first domino fell, it was game over for Rogers, as more and more of his scores were shown to be absolutely impossible to achieve. On the 29th of January 2018, Rogers was officially banned from Twin Galaxies, and the decision summary outlines two main concerns that led to that decision. The first was the agreement of results from numerous parties confirming that 5.51 seconds is not an achievable score. The second was referee testimony that seemed to confirm that Rogers had a history of entering many of his own scores. Guinness would follow up this decision by also stripping Rogers of his award for the longest standing video game record, and posting a small blurb in their Next Gamers edition, which said that Twin Galaxies confirmed the time was
Memorial
not
Hill.
technically possible. Fast forward to
Should we go there?
2021,
Well, we
and
have to
Todd
go
Rogers
there
has lawyered up
later
and
on,
filed a
or
$500,000 defamation lawsuit against Spectrum Business Ventures, who were the previous owners of Twin Galaxies, Guinness World Records, and Jace Hall,
Coney City.
who is the current custodian of Twin Galaxies. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Todd Todges? You can't be serious. Did he really misspell his own name? You might think this is fake, but I've pulled this document directly from the Florida courts. Todd really did misspell his own name in the lawsuit filing. Definitely not off to a great start. The case laid out in this filing is very poorly written and lacks the fundamental basics required for a successful defamation claim. For example, the first, most obvious inclusion to this kind of legal action would be the specific defamatory statements themselves. However, this filing doesn't include any. It does state that Todges has suffered significant loss of reputation due to statements on social media by SBV, but no examples are provided, likely because they
Like
don't
how we refer to
actually
him as
exist.
Todges, even though
It
there it
states
says
that Twin
Rogers.
Galaxies posted an article entitled "Twin Galaxies Drags to Dispute Concludes with the Banning of Todd Rogers," but again, it fails to disclose what the defamatory statements were. I can only conclude that this is because the article did not include any
Google.
defamatory statements. If you read the article yourself, you'd be inclined to agree. Out of the 3 defendants, Guinness is the only one that sees one of their statements included. Todges provides a snippet from the Gamers Edition where they explain that Twin Galaxies informed them that 5.51 wasn't technically possible, so they removed his award. An important thing to remember about defamation suits is that truth is an absolute defense, meaning that if the statement is factually accurate, there is simply no case against it. Everything in this paragraph is verifiably true. Twin Galaxies did notify Guinness that 5.51 wasn't technically possible. There is
That's crazy.
nothing here that is even remotely false. Given the fact that Guinness only repeated what Twin Galaxies told them, I really don't see a case here. I'm guessing this is just another attempt at strong-arming them into giving him back his record, which is exactly what happened when Billy Mitchell threatened to sue them back in 2019.
Ruins of life.
Suing Twin Galaxies is especially egregious, though, when you realize just how far
he's
they
back.
went in order to help
As
Todges clear his name.
medicine.
The initial spark that led to the entire investigation of Todd's Dragster record was the findings of OmniGamer, who
I will
disassembled
not
the
need it.
code and calculated the best possible
Literally
time as
don't need
5.57.
it.
He also created a spreadsheet which mimicked the game perfectly, so you could just manually place inputs at which frames you like, and it would immediately tell you the result of the race. Over the next 6 months, multiple independent parties would also do their
What's
own
wrong?
analysis of the game's code and confirm that 5.51 wasn't possible. They also
Help you?
rigorously compared OmniGamer's spreadsheet against actual hardware and
Ah.
found that it was a perfect match. Essentially, all technical analysis of this problem
What do I
resulted
have
in the same
equipped on
outcome.
my
Todd's
Serena
score
right
is
now?
just not achievable. However, Twin Galaxies didn't want to just take the word of relatively unknown figures on the internet. They wanted to hire an expert to validate the findings. So they paid for the help of Ben Heck, a well-known
Heck.
console modder and computer engineer. Ben made a couple of videos covering the investigation and openly stated that he was asked to do so by Twin Galaxies. Not only this, but Twin Galaxies flew Todges first class to appear with Ben Heck and allow himself to prove his innocence. In total, they spent $10,000 on this. And again, this was
Wait,
purely to
I
try
typed
to
in
help
Corsa.
Todges clear his
It's a
name,
clamp
as
roll.
extensive testing had all but confirmed that his record was not possible. Ben Heck's testing showed that OmniGamer's spreadsheet was accurate,
lifespan.
and Todd failed miserably in showing that better than 5.51 was achievable. In fact, even though he could manually enter any input he wanted, he couldn't even get close. It was clear that his understanding of the game fell well short of the experts who had already chimed in with their conclusions. So it's pretty incredible that after spending 6 months investigating and thousands of dollars on expert analysis, Twin Galaxies is now being sued by the very person they were trying to help. Todges claims that Twin Galaxies posted their article in order to
Still
bring
say
traffic to the
Todges.
website, and that they made over $1 million from it.
Well, you're such a
Man, if
dick.
exposing a has-been gamer that literally no one outside of the retro video game high school community has ever heard of can earn you $1 million, where do I sign up? This claim is obviously ridiculous, and just goes to show how big of an ego he has that he thinks he is this important. The reality is that Twin Galaxies doesn't earn money from its website. It doesn't even run ads. In fact, it doesn't really earn money at all. The simple truth is that the owner of Twin Galaxies, Jace Hall, just wanted to know if the scores were possible, and when the
Jace
evidence
Hall?
said they weren't, he banned
That's his
the player.
name?
There really isn't much more to it than that. I previously
Oh,
said that
I
Billy
feel
Mitchell's
bad.
lawsuit against Twin Galaxies was the dumbest in video game history, but Todd's might be just a bit dumber. Unlike Mitchell, Todgers has literally no videos of any of his high scores, nor were any of them ever publicly achieved. He claims
Lord,
he has
just tell me where I have to
witnesses,
go
but
next.
none of them ever step forward because they are imaginary. The moment
Thank
this
you.
is seen by a judge, Todd will be destroyed, and I am very much looking forward to it.
I don't know, I have to do shit.
Now on to everyone's favorite villain, Billy Mitchell, who has filed a new lawsuit against the world's best Pac-Man player David Race. Race holds the record for the fastest ever perfect completion of Pac-Man, attaining the maximum score possible in 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 49 seconds. When the Donkey Kong scandal first began taking shape, Race was an avid Mitchell supporter,
Circuitry.
and would often write lengthy Facebook posts defending him. Mitchell took notice of this and got in touch with Race, allowing him to be part of Billy's team that was trying to disprove the cheating allegations. Race would ultimately spend months testing the exact hardware Mitchell supposedly used to create his scores. Mitchell even provided the exact arcade board that he claimed to have used. It was originally David's intent to prove Mitchell's innocence, but alas, the more he investigated, the more he realized that Mitchell's story couldn't be true. There is just no way the footage of the scores could ever be replicated on original arcade hardware. Despite the tests concluding that Mitchell's tapes were not from a Donkey Kong arcade, David still felt that there were other possible explanations for the discrepancy, such as video editing or tampering with the tapes. Perhaps someone who wanted to frame Mitchell devised a genius scheme. However, this theory was also debunked when an MTV video from 2006 showed Mitchell's score before anyone else had access to it, which also showed all of the hallmarks of emulation. In the end, David couldn't help but agree with the assertions that had already been made. Mitchell's performances were not produced from an original arcade, and there is just no way the tapes that Twin Galaxies possess were tampered with. But this didn't stop Mitchell from taking some of David's earlier comments and using them out of context to try to support his own claims. Mitchell's evidence package asserts that Race believes the technical analysis was inconclusive, but his current opinion couldn't be further from this, now that all of the facts have been presented. After David's comments were misconstrued by Mitchell in the Twin Galaxies lawsuit, David began providing testimony in defense of Twin Galaxies. In his sworn testimony, he states clearly, "It is my opinion that the video game recordings of the disputed score performances cannot have come from an original, unmodified Donkey Kong PCB.
You better be Liam.
This
If you're
began
not, I'll
a
kill you.
tangential war between Mitchell and Race
We're in the
in
graveyard.
the lawsuit, with Mitchell claiming that Race gave a fraudulent declaration in an effort to seek revenge. As is always the case, Mitchell paints anyone who thinks he cheated as just having a vendetta against him. It can never simply be that they examined evidence and came to the only reasonable conclusion. This epic side battle is far too involved for me to break down in complete detail, but the crux of the matter is that David ended up releasing a recording of a phone conversation between him and Mitchell. In this conversation, Mitchell explains to Race a scheme to create a new videotape and
Oh, you're
claim
getting
it as
sleepy?
the
That's what
recording
people say
of one of
before they
his
die.
disputed scores. More specifically, the score of 1,062,800, which to
There's a
date does not
Jolteon.
have a full public video. This
24.
conversation was entered into evidence to both show the deceiving nature of Mitchell and to illustrate how close the two men were. It is this exact recording that has landed David on the receiving end of a $100,000 lawsuit. Mitchell is claiming that it was illegal for David to record the conversation, but unfortunately for him, David resides in Ohio, which is where the call was recorded. Ohio
Where
is a
it's
one-party
allowed.
state, meaning that it is perfectly legal to record a conversation if you are one of the parties involved. Mitchell claims that because he called David from
One-party
Florida,
state,
which
that's
is
what
a
that
two-party
means.
state, David should be subject to Florida law, which just isn't how it works. Mitchell's filing even admits David was in Ohio at the time. Aside from the ridiculousness of the main claim, the filing contains insane lies that are plucked out of thin air. For example, it claims that after first meeting Mitchell in 2010, David
Queenly
Race
Majesty,
then joined
right?
the
Baby
Pac-Man
Doll Ice, Quick
community
Attack.
to pursue his own high scores in the footsteps of Mitchell. But David was already the best Pac-Man player in the world by the time they met. In 2009, he already held the record for the fastest ever perfect completion. Trust me, I've studied all of Mitchell's lawsuits. There are so many crazy lies, it really boggles the mind. He has absolutely no inhibitions about constructing fake stories that are incredibly easy to disprove.
So we just don't fight this
I am personally
guy.
of the opinion that this new lawsuit is just another attack on someone that Mitchell wants to hurt for speaking out against him. Now, let's do a quick rundown of all of the current legal action Mitchell is taking. He is suing Twin Galaxies in California for $1 million for removing his high scores and saying they weren't achieved on original hardware. He also filed a $10 million lawsuit against them in Florida. He is suing Jeremy Young for $1 million, who was the person who originally declared that Mitchell's tapes were performed on emulator. He filed a $2 million lawsuit against Jeff Harris, who owns and runs Donkey Kong
Well,
Forum.
if you don't have to
This
fight
is
them,
the
we
official
shouldn't
Donkey Kong
fight
High
them.
School leaderboard that all of the top players use.
Isn't that-
They are being sued for removing his scores and allowing posts outlining the evidence that Mitchell cheated. He also sued YouTuber Apollo Legend for $1 million. I haven't spoken about this publicly, but this lawsuit ultimately ended with Apollo giving in and settling with Mitchell. The lawsuit against Apollo was just as frivolous as the rest, and Apollo definitely would have won in court, but again, he was extremely ill and couldn't handle the ongoing stress. Mitchell threatened to sue Guinness World Records, causing them to cave in and reinstate his fake scores. He also hired a lawyer in Australia and threatened to sue me, trying to extort me for $150,000. In all likelihood, if he is not stopped, he probably will sue me eventually. And now, of course, he is suing David Race for exposing him and helping Twin Galaxies with their lawsuit. It's really important to remember that Mitchell has never had a lawsuit actually go the distance and result in his favor. In the past, people would get too scared and comply, until he went up against the new owner of Twin Galaxies, Jace Hall, who is anything but a pushover. The only lawsuit that actually ended in a judgment was Mitchell's lawsuit against Cartoon Network, which he hilariously lost. And trust me, he is going to lose every single lawsuit from here on out. People are fed up with being pushed around, and they are beginning to fight back. Unfortunately, fighting requires money, which is why I have launched a GoFundMe to support victims of Billy Mitchell's frivolous lawsuits. Money is really important for two main reasons. The first is that we can provide good quality lawyers to ensure that the lawsuits are defended successfully in a swift manner. Secondly, lawsuits are extremely stressful, and any support would go a long way to help the victims deal with these attacks in good spirits. The priority at the moment will be to help David Race, Jeremy Young, and Jeff
Why is
Harris.
Comfy so
Any
bulky?
surplus funds will be used to aid Twin Galaxies in their defense, or to help myself if Mitchell takes action against me. I really also want to give back to supporters,
we have a
so
move.
backers will
We
gain
have a
access
move.
to regular
Smart
video
strike?
updates that I will
We
provide,
have a
going far
move.
more in depth into the status of all of these lawsuits. If you have any other suggestions about ways I can add value, or ways you think we can help,
You're right.
please let me
We
know.
don't have a move.
All of Billy Mitchell's victims are just huge fans of competitive gaming. They have devoted their lives to it, and are just
Video
doing
gaming.
their best to ensure that fraudsters like Mitchell are removed from the community. They don't deserve this at all. And although it might take a little bit of time, patience, and money, Billy Mitchell will be stopped, and he will be forced to face the consequences of his actions. Remember, when he does ultimately lose, he will need to pay
68.8%.
back every single penny that was spent defending against his frivolous lawsuits. I really do appreciate all of the help. As always, thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and
Try
I
to
will
avoid her.
see you in the next video.
Never mind. Try to avoid her. No. Madam Sayuri. Right, for now we'll just end with some music. Okay, that's fine. Because then I at least survive, you know? It's still dying. Health training moves have priority, but this one doesn't have a health training move. Let's go. Wrap, Sweet Kiss, and Natural Gift. So it doesn't have priority, and it's slower than me. Barely, but still slower. Yep, we're still doing good. Next is a punk girl called Melissa with a shadow sneaking Ariados. We're already finding some. What's that move that it learns? The mist thing? I'm talking about Serena here. Steamy Serena. Aromatic mist. The user raises the special defense stat of an ally. Oh, that thing that nobody uses? Pog. It's level 24. The levels are catching up, and that's scary. I can't... Well, if Lycanroc just one-shots with Accelerock, a Hard Rock boosted Accelerock would totally one-shot this thing. Hard Stone. Yes, totally does. And we outspeed it, so we don't have to worry about Shadow Snake suddenly being faster than me. Good. See, I'm doing it just in case I don't actually, dodge them, you know? You know, where are we? We are here. I feel like I got cheesed. Yeah, I feel like that would have been cheese if I had not, you know? It would have been unfair. It would have been unfair. I guess I definitely looked like I would have gotten that. I'm sorry. It just had to happen. It was still Rostberry. That's what I was thinking. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Next is a 2 Skullgrunt, but doesn't have priority moves. So I can just Titanium Z nuke it. It's an Alola Eradicate. Eradicati. Why would you unteach like Sucker Punch and shit? Such a bad idea. I'm just saying. It's an extremely bad idea. Whoa. Don't give me trouble, I'll reduce you to rubble. We're winning. Bing. We're winning. Bing. God, I love Z-nuking. Well, I did it because Body Force can still miss. That loss was so pathetic, it ruins my aesthetic. That was a good one. That was a good one. Praise me. Praise me. Last time I neglected to catch you, this time I'll do the exact same thing. Valhalla Outskirts. New place. Unless it's just part of Memorial Hill. Nope. It's new. Don't have too many trainers. It has 3. Fisherman Vernon with a wishy-washy. What if the wishy-washy was in school? It would definitely take a chop with them. But I'm so glad that we have the Grassing Zebra. That's the first trainer that I'm counting. You actually move? Crazy. Fisherman, yes. Fisherman. $15.28 for Leech Life. I mean, why wouldn't you? Salt can also learn it. We'll think about it. Next is Black Belt Kenji with a crab roller. It has Bubble Beam. You actually think that joke is fucking funny? It wasn't. Yo. Look, Gust also one-shots it, but... yeah, level 25, yes. I did calculate with the right level. I'm not completely stupid. Give me some credit. Nice. Fuck the sand attack, am I right? GG for short. No, no items. I just jumped down for nothing. I'm facing this Pokemon for nothing. Nothing? Nothing. Okay. Plumeria is next with a Golbat at level 26. Yeah, levels are really catching up at an alarming pace. Like, Lycanroc can take it out with a Rock Slide. Maybe Heartstone, Accelerock. Nope, it's Chase. But of course, wouldn't it be too easy if it wasn't a chance? There is a Pokemon chilling in my PC that I'm absolutely not using. 62.5% chance to code that gold at. Then there's Solanda at level 27. Obviously. Not as scary. You know. Hold up.
So you're the one Gladion was talking about?
Yeah, I don't care anymore. But the hips a lot. So. So Rock is a chance, and Rockslide is a chance to miss. But that's thinking if the EVs are, well, the IVs are max, and they aren't. It's just a special precaution. No, I like aerial is because I can't miss. Yeah. Keep battling. Obviously, we want to keep battling. Pretty strong, I'll give you that. Thanks, big sis. Oh, I'm stupid, I clicked on the wrong one. Ruins of Life. This is where we fight. Anorith, Lileep, and Lycanroc. Nothing has priority. That's a very astute observation. We'll start with Anorith. Level 27. Lycanroc does kind of kill it, huh? Doesn't have a hold item, so that's cool. Wait, does Anorith get sturdy? I don't know, fossils and sturdy seem to go hand in hand, so... No, battle armor is switched on. Lileep also doesn't get sturdy, but we're checking anyway. Suction Cups and Stormberry. So yeah, just don't use water type attacks or something, I guess. And obviously we have speed nothing. So yeah. Anorith dice. Lileep. I think that's the one we have to sync nuke. Mofussin and Hawlucha. Then Lycanroc. Midnight. At level 28, I think. Who has 59 speed. My Serena would love to say hi, but it cannot. If we just keep Hawlucha in. Okay, so the Lileep. Does die to Flying Press. It's just, again, the fact that it has a 5% chance to miss. Titanium Z. Wait, now that I think about it. Oh, level 32. Yeah, okay. We can take her out. Yeah, we can take her. Maybe we should do something else. There's a little bit... No. A lot of training went into this, so... I'm so sorry for any background noise that you might hear. I don't understand why they're being so loud about it. It's midnight and they're being like, biker gang. Yeah, Gucci gang. Topolino. Pew. It's mommy. It's mommy. Alright. Let's duke it out. I'd love to. Imagine I looked at the sun and moon one instead of the ultra sun, ultra moon. That'd be fucking crazy. That'd be so bad. Bow, 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 bow. Jang, yeah. Yes. Lileep. Right? What the fuck happened? What? Suction cup, storm drain? Wait, no. No, this is actually wrong. It's a leap at level 27, my Lucha at level 32, flying press, guaranteed Oko. I do not have a... What happened? What happened? No, seriously, what happened? I'm trying to know. It doesn't have sturdy. Because it can't. It physically cannot. It physically cannot have sturdy. They just feel like not dying. It just felt like not dying, I guess. Okay, fuck, I should check Bulbapedia. At least that one is more up to date. Hold on. Because I feel like I got cheesed out of. Suction cups. What? No held item. It played some kind of... What happened? I mean, I have to reset, but I just need to know. Doesn't have any... I'm looking at it. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Lileep. Giga Drain, Ancient Power, Brine. A Suction Cups is an ability. And held item is nothing. And the wild one can literally only hold a bog root and big root. I'm gonna look through the recording again. Because it's been 3 hours and 30 minutes and I've been playing all fucking day. I'm gonna save state. I'm gonna save state in slot number 4. I'm gonna check the recording, and if some bullshit happened... Okay, yeah. But yeah, I absolutely killed. Because it showed a little pop-up afterwards. And I don't know what it said. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna end it now.